stop by for the Nintenbyte. You got the Triforce and it feels right. Like Bowser, you can listen all night, singing Peaches until the sunlight. Summer shoots her beam so bright. Master Hand always brings a fight. Catch 'em all and use that fire blast. Put the soul back to visit your past. Welcome to the Nintenbyte Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Nintenbyte Podcast. We will have a wild Andres restart later. I think he's still at the gym. I don't know what he's doing. He's being a gym bro. He's usually back in time. He knew we were only supposed to have the core four today, but we have a last minute edition because one of the topics that just, like, I was gonna make a video on it tomorrow, but then he's making headlines. Paul Gale Network's making headlines. I don't know if you guys know. He's being called an industry analyst, and he's making headlines. It's just getting posted everywhere. And the thing is, everyone knows Paul Gale's legit. That's not the question. But these headlines are big headlines. It's a big deal. So, since we're going to talk about it, why not invite the man who's the source? I know him. I could just call him up. So why don't I just be like, Paul, we're literally talking about you for like the biggest topic of the show. You got to get you on. That being said, welcome, Paul Gale. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to talk. It was a busy week. I mean, if you've been seeing any of the other stuff online, but I already give you the sneak peek ahead of time, so you actually have seen all of the Zelda pool stuff before I put it online.
Yeah, you texted all the stuff to me. Yeah,
you're one of the few that sees it.
I'm in the inner circle, but I will say, for being in the inner circle, I did find out about all this stuff we're talking about today when you put it public. So,
although, if you remember.
Here we go. He's going to tell me that he teased this to me a long time ago, and I forgot.
Yep. A year ago.
Yeah, I do remember a year ago, yeah.
A year ago. Like, a year-ish. I won't say the exact time, but you could look back and see that time, but that time's a little bit after the time. But basically, what was one has now become a few.
And everyone's like, what are we talking about? Well, we'll get to it.
Well, you'll find out.
Well, when he mentioned that to me in response on Twitter, and I just sat there. I'm like, oh, I remember that one. Oh, so I was on the inside for one thing. Long time. I think I can never really grow. Yeah, it's growing. All right.
And with that, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for having me on. Bye.
Right. Just stops by for.
Well, the audience is like, what the hell is going on? He's teasing something. What is he teasing? Well, we'll get into it. Thunderstash Gaming's here. How's it going, man?
Excellent. Happy to be here.
What shirt are you wearing? Who is that? I can't tell from here.
Come on, you know who this says, man.
Kelly. That's Kelly, yeah. The moment that you backed up a smidge, oh my God, that's Kelly.
Kelly Kapowski.
There we go. Kelly Kapowski. Heartthrob, baby.
She was one of them.
Yeah, she was definitely one of them back in the day. And then we got, Eric Moore.
Yeah, I'm here.
Then I said, we're going to try to catch a wild Andres restart later. I already threw the Pokeball. I just don't know where it went.
It's posted around still.
See what happens. All right. Our restart show we do every single time. A little bit of a topic roulette. I'll have Thunderstash go first.
I will take the top 5 Mario games.
For once, you didn't take the dealer's choice. That's awesome because I know who's going to get stuck with that. That makes me very happy. Eric, what one are you going to take?
I mean, I could literally just take the Switch 2 topic and let Paul run with it. Yay! That's what I'll do.
All right. So we do have a Switch 2 topic. We'll just leave it at that. It's kind of already teased in the title, but we're going to get there. And then I guess, because one of the topics is dealer's choice, and I had to come up with the topics in the fucking first place.
I can't think of it.
So I'm going to take the big summer blowout, Echoes of Wisdom, baby. That's right. We got a lot of Echoes of Wisdom stuff to talk about. It's going to be a big topic today. And then, sorry, Andres, you're stuck with dealer's choice. You have to make up a topic on the fly. Have fun, buddy. All right. So I guess we'll go with the first topic that got picked. What was it?
Yeah.
Was that Thunderstash?
Yeah.
What are we talking about, man?
These are your top 5 Mario games of all time.
That's tough. Funny thing, I came up with a topic and I never wrote down a list.
Yep.
To be fair, I didn't really have time, but I will make my list now. I don't even need to look up games. I got this. Who wants to go first on this one? No one wants to go first. No one's.
I will go first. I am
I
prepared.
understand. I should go first.
Yeah, let's do it.
It shouldn't take me long, but yeah.
Yeah, you know what? It didn't take me long either. So
Like, when I really think about it, I got a top 5.
yeah, well, when you think about it, the 5, there's no second guessing here.
Yeah.
I'll go in order from oldest to newest. I definitely have one on the list from the NES era. That's Super Mario Brothers 3. This game is so special in so many ways. Probably the most special way is how it was unveiled in the movie The Wizard, starring Fred Savage and Christian Slater. Classic movie.
Oh, yeah.
Nintendo World Championships. I rewatched the end of it so I could get a few clips for my Nintendo World Championship review. And still, I was just like, man, this is so cool. Absolutely love that game. Then I got to go Super Mario World. Of course. Pack-in title with the Super Nintendo. Played this numerous times throughout the years. It's a game that I revisit. I wouldn't say on a regular basis, but way more than others that I just play through in a day. Absolutely love it. Now we're going to jump into 3D era with Super Mario 64. And Mario 64, of course, if you were growing up then and you were used to playing 2D games and you had never seen 3D before. And I say this because the younger generation has always known both 2D and 3D. We didn't know 3D. We experienced it for the first time. And I still remember it was June of 96. I go to my local video game store, Gamers. And the guy who works there, Jimbo, tells my dad and I, we came there on a Friday. He said, hey, we just got the new Nintendo system in. And I was like thinking, okay, I have no idea what this is because I'm a kid. Nintendo Power wasn't talking about this stuff. Long story short, they got the Nintendo 64 in from Japan to rent out. They would get systems in from Japan on a regular. Remember when the Neo Geo came out? We rented it from there back in the day. And he said, nobody knows yet, and we haven't made flyers to advertise it. He said, you guys can take it home for the weekend free of charge, which is crazy. But he trusted us. We've been going there for years. He knew my family. And so I got to take home the 64 and play Mario 64. And the other game was called Human Grand Prix. It was an F1 racing game. So it wasn't like Mario and Pilot Wings like we got here in the US. Those were the two games. And so I got to go home and play Mario 64. Of course, it was in Japanese. And playing this for the first time was absolutely insane, especially because it was before anybody else. Like, I still remember going to school when school started that school year. I was in 6th grade and nobody believed me. They thought it was complete BS. There's no way there's a Mario game where you jump through paintings. I'm like, dude, I swear to God. So obviously when it came out and was announced later that year in September, my name was cleared. But I have such fond memories of Mario 64. It truly did revolutionize gaming just like Zelda did on 64. Next is Super Mario Galaxy Part 2. And I love Galaxy 1 and 2, but if I got to choose one of them, I think 2 is a little bit better. It's probably the Yoshi factor as well. But man, those games were so much fun. They hold up so well. Even playing it now on Super Mario 3D All-Stars, the game is just still so good. It looks great. And I think it transitioned really well without the Wii controls. And thankfully, the last game is going to be Super Mario Odyssey. And I say thankfully because I'm not talking about all these games in the past. Meaning, like, Mario has gotten better. And Mario Odyssey, in my opinion, is proof of that. That, to me, as far as 3D Marios go, that is the best 3D Mario. And the future is bright, which I can't wait to see what we're gonna have on Switch 2, especially considering I feel like there's a good chance it's either going to be a launch title or a launch window title, maybe that holiday title from Nintendo, if it's not on launch day. And so I'm obviously super excited for that. But Mario Odyssey, man, that is just peak 3D Mario. And that's my top 5.
That's a good.
Hell yeah.
I mean, like when you go first, I mean, you get the bangers. Like it is what it is. Like everyone else's list is going to basically sound the same, right?
Similar,
or not. No idea. Eric, you want to go next?
I can.
All right.
Gonna start out with one of my favorite games of all time, being Mario 64, because that was just part of my massive part of my childhood. Just spent hours upon hours just playing that game. Then the next one on my list here, this is actually really no full order, being Mario Sunshine. I know I played a lot of that with my friend Chris, growing up and stuff like that. A lot of these are on my list because of playing them with, alongside of, friends, family, things like that. Mario Odyssey is my next one. Definitely, one of the best Mario games out there, in my opinion. It reminded me a lot of Mario 64, so it kind of hit the nostalgia factor, plus the different mechanics and things like that were just awesome. Next one on my list then is Mario Galaxy 1. I didn't really play 2 growing up. We had 1, and a lot of that was because I got to watch my sister play it, and she just absolutely loved this game so much. So I didn't really play it a ton, but because of that and me getting to watch her experience it and love that game, it is one of my favorite games. And then finally, the original Super Mario Bros. Just because it is where it started, and I've played many of hours with friends and family and everything like that too. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. That's kind of how my list was built, is where I've spent most of my time playing, and bringing back lots of memories of playing with friends and family. So,
all right,
nice.
There you go. See, it's a single player game. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
What are we talking about? It's all about the fam.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I mean, I'm the best for last, so I'll go last. Paul Gale.
I'll go in reverse order, which it's going to sound weird giving the 5th one, because honestly, all 5 of these are like a 10 out of 10. So how do I sell the 5th and then only go higher than what I'm going to be raving about in the first place, But I'll kind of explain some reasoning. In 5th place is Super Mario 3D World. There's a little bit of a bias towards liking it before I even played it, and that's because I had an article back in the day saying that Nintendo's next Mario game is a 3D Mario game. And a lot of people said, no, duh. And I said, no, it's 3D Mario, as in it's a successor to 3D Land. And then people were like, oh, snap, you knew. I didn't see it yet, but I knew it would be of that style. So I already was like, I'm gonna like this because this is one of my scoops. But then the game came out, and sometimes in life, a game pairs up well with what else is going on, right? Like you're graduating, you get married, you have a kid, this and that. My wife and I got married, and this game came out a few months later, and this was one of those early games that we played as a married couple, 100%ing it, with every character going on top of every pole, getting every bonus, all of the hard levels, all of the difficult stuff. So there's a lot of memories of us as an early young couple, few months in, playing it, beating it. I love the game. I mean, I love dogs and I love cats, so I liked that Cat Mario was a new inclusion. I liked the music. I was okay with the fact that the D-pad was not giving you full analog control, and if you used the analog stick, it still wasn't pure 360. We had friends over. We played 4-player Mario, which up until that point, the only time we did it was with New Super Mario Bros. Wii, which I also really enjoyed. But Super Mario 3D World was so good, and part of it is also that timing. Next up is a blast to the past, Super Mario World. It's so easy that I could say nothing would be done, nothing would have existed without Super Mario Brothers. Like that shook it. So I'll always give respect to that one. I mean, after all, it was Super Mario Brothers that I made into my Super Mario pool. I gave respect to the 35th anniversary of that game. That was the sprite that I chose to put in, not anything else. So I hold it very near and dear. I played games prior to then, but that's what like defined me. I'm a gamer for life was Super Mario Bros. But Super Mario World, gosh, it was just everything blown up from the 8-bit era. There's a lot of talk back and forth. My wife says Super Mario Bros. 3 is better. I say Super Mario World's better. I can't complain. It's like, dude, one's a 10 and one's a 9.99, or one's a 10 and one's a little bit better of a 10. Mario 3, fantastic. Andres, welcome. But Mario World, to me, the sprite, the Yoshi inclusion, the different colored Yoshis, the Warp Star Worlds, the different paths, the P-Wing power-up. I love the cape. The cape became my favorite way of traversing the skies. Dang. It was Mario 3 and then even more realized and showed this is 16 bits of power. So Super Mario World is number 4. Number 3, it's tough. I mean, I could go with Super Mario Galaxy, but maybe I will go with Galaxy 2 because of the Yoshi inclusion. But I'll always give props to Galaxy because it shook things up. It played with gravity. It played with physics. It made it different. But maybe Super Mario Galaxy 2 is the slightly better game with a couple of different Wii motion controls thrown in there and a couple of different alternate perspectives of how you could control Mario. So maybe it edges it out briefly, but there's stuff that both of them do slightly better than the other. The next one is tough because it was my favorite game of all time for a while. It still is one of the most impactful games of all time. And I have a similar story to Thunderstash, which I'll share mine just to show you how similar our stories are. And that's Super Mario 64. It revolutionized everything. When you were talking about it, it made me think, were we born in the same year? I was born in 83. How about you?
85.
85. So we're very close in that regard. I was an obsessed Mario fan at this point. And then Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, 3, World, Super Mario RPG, World 2, Yoshi's Island was all good. And then Super Mario 64 was blew everything away. I was an avid reader of Electronic Gaming Monthly. Mm-hmm. I would check out GameFan, Nintendo Power magazines, look at that controller, map out the controller or cut out the plastic, wrap it around my SNES controller, and hold it in my hand to envision what's this going to be like. An analog stick? 6 space buttons? What is this going to do to Street Fighter? You mean you could tiptoe as Mario? I was obsessed. I went with my dad to visit my grandma. She lived in Lameda, and close by was a city called Torrance. They had this Japanese import shop called Gameland. And I remember it was late June or early July of 1996. They just got it because it just came out. And I saw it there, and it was a feeling like, dude, you talk about core memories. I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
And we had no incentive of buying it because I knew 3 months later it was going to come out in the United States. But like, yeah, I'm interested. Can I play it? And like, oh, dude, like a little 12-year-old me or barely turned 13-year-old me, depending on just what it was, because on birthday is July 7th. I got to hold it and play it, and like, just incredible. And then the game ended up truly delivering. These days you could be a modern 3D dual analog stick gamer, and you could say, oh, it's tough not being able to switch the axis on the horizontal. You couldn't do that. But back then, it was perfect. And it still holds up. It's still fun. I think the music is maybe the series' best up to that point.
So good.
It gave us Charles Martinet in gaming form, not in pinball or typing form, which you could debate. Well, that's kind of a video game technically, but it gave us a lot. That's my number 2. And it's tough to call this one number 1, but I think it beats it. And that's Super Mario Odyssey. It brought back the creativity that Galaxy had, because it gave you these 2D gameplay mechanics and these weird things. It gave you a lot of powers from different Mario games, but in a unique way. It let you play as Bowser. It had this ending, which was awesome because it played on the nostalgia of all that. It did things well by having old music and new tunes. It gave you quite some number of big worlds and a lot of different magical feelings of transporting to this and seeing that Princess Peach's castle for the first time in years and going back to that. I thought, and I love the Koroks in Breath of the Wild. I always find fun finding them, but the moons felt more significant, getting one than the Koroks, even though the Koroks, when people say, I don't like the Koroks, dude, I like the Koroks. I like busting out a round of Zelda 7 years later, walking in a straight line with my Kokiri mask, my Makar mask on, and finding a Korok. But the Power Moon was a different level of satisfaction, and also, once again, paired up with I'm a new dad now. I have my son playing with me, and this is his first. Well, maybe Super Mario Maker, he actually experienced a little bit as like a baby, but like his first time playing Mario and purposely taking my file and jumping off and like, no, you're killing daddy's coins. You're losing my stars. Ha ha ha. No, don't do it again. Don't do it again. Jump. Ah, no. And like all of that ties into and daughter being born next. And it's more than just that. But as a game, it is fantastic. But once again, it ties into something else. So Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario 64, Super Mario Galaxy 2, I think, Super Mario World, Super Mario 3D World. You almost can't go wrong. Like no one's going to have a bad list. It's just different types of great. I would be hard pressed to find someone that says that's a good list, but Super Mario Odyssey is trash. Dude, how? Well, that's a good list, except Super Mario Galaxy 2, that game's a 7 out of 10.
I'm sorry.
Right.
The internet exists, man.
I mean, that's a wrong opinion. I'm sorry. Anyways, that's
the internet is filled with incorrect opinions.
We are incorrect.
Yeah.
Most
They're all over the place.
So.
Great list, great stories.
Listen, you got some bad ones, but you're not as bad as the internet.
I don't know. I feel like I'm the captain of the bad sometimes. Let's go. Speaking of being captain of the bad, I'll give my top 5. All right. Gonna go in reverse order, starting with number 5, Mario 64. I don't really know that we need a lot of explanation. A lot of you guys have already said some very nice things about Mario 64. Obviously, yeah, okay, it was a really important. And people talk about the importance to gaming with it, but look, none of that shit matters to me. I'm the one playing the game. I don't care what it mattered to the developers. What it mattered to me. It was one of the, not the first 3D game I played, but the very first 3D platforming game I played, and blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. It set expectations, maybe at the time a little unrealistic, but it set it pretty damn high. Little did I know, like it's not my favorite 3D platformer, even from the N64 era. I'd probably give that to Conker's Bad Fur Day. But I love Mario 64. Eric obviously played a shitload of it. Him and I both played a shitload of it together. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's reminiscent of a age in my childhood. I mean, come on, 96. Heart of the 90s. I mean, come on. The 90s is fantastic. It's so fantastic. It keeps getting referenced in every popular movie because the 90s was awesome. And I got to live it. And this was part of being in the 90s. Everyone knew. Even though the N64 might have only sold like 36 million copies, don't matter. Everyone knew what the hell was going on with Mario 64 in the 90s. Yeah. The way it is. Awesome game. Next up, Mario Galaxy 2. I understand all the criticisms on why people think Mario Galaxy 1 is better. After all, Mario Galaxy 1 set the stage. It created the story, and it was the thing that had the original idea with all the gravitational changes. That's usually the criticisms of 2. 2 just copied the story of 1. 2 didn't feel as fresh. 2 added Yoshi. Yeah, but Yoshi was pretty badass in 2. Like, let me just be clear. Like, that was a good addition in 2. And I just think the level designs were, I understand, like, if you're really big into story and you love the story of Galaxy 1, Galaxy 2's story doesn't really feel unique or original. But That's not why I play Mario. I don't think I've ever picked up a Mario game thinking, yeah, man, story, let's go. No, I pick it up because the gameplay. And the gameplay is just better in 2 to me than 1. But I still love 1. I still love the original Mario Galaxy. But that's at number 4 for me. This is where things may get a little controversial and people might claim some recency bias. But at number 3, I'm putting Mario Wonder.
Oh, yeah.
Mario Wonder. So I've played a lot of the sides. I played every single side-scrolling Mario game. But and I played the ones that have multiplayer, right? Your local multiplayer. That's what they've had in the past. Local multiplayer. What really pushed this over the top for me is obviously I love the Wonder abilities, the Wonder Seeds, the power-ups they put in there. I love all the level designs and ranking the levels from easy to difficult. And actually, the rankings were correct. Whether it was a 1, a 2, 3, 4, like it was correct. They actually ranked them correctly. Like you could feel the difficulty go up. And some of the hardest levels in the challenge stages did feel actually legitimately hard. There's still one that I've literally only beaten because of the multiplayer they have, where I got popped after I should have not survived by someone else in the game. So one thing I do like about it, though, is its unique approach to multiplayer. Because while you still have your local co-op, you have this thing where online ghosts are obviously helping you out. And you can kind of help out each other through the level. And I didn't realize how much I was going to love it. Like when this was described before the game came out, I'm like, this just sounds awful. This just sounds like horrendous. Like why can't we just have proper online multiplayer? Why can't I just tell Eric, hop on your effing Switch and let's play together co-op mode? Like that, that's what a lot of people want. But man, dude, the way they did the multiplayer, and I'm air quote multiplayer, but they do help you. And it's funny watching like the ghost of someone who's playing with you will run by, they'll notice you're struggling, and they'll come back and just wait to help you out. I'm like, dude, this is sick. I really enjoyed I thought they handled it very well. It was a very unique because they could have just phoned it in and just went with online co-op, online play. And they didn't. They said, no, we want to try this new unique, and it worked, in my opinion. And it added to the game. I know some of you guys say, well, you're not a purist. Dude, because I'm playing Mario, man. I'm about having fun. You want to be a purist and solo everything? I don't give a shit, man. I'm about to have a good time. And Mario Wonder gave me a damn good time. And that was a very difficult addition to me because before this was Mario World, and Mario World is a very special place in my heart. And it took me, I replayed about half of Super Mario World 3 weeks ago. Because I'm like, God, do I really think Mario Wonder is like a better game for me than that? And it almost crushed my heartstrings to be like, I do enjoy Mario Wonder more. And that hurt to say out loud. It even hurts to say right now because I'm saying it publicly. It hurt. It hurt to bump Mario Wonder off to bump Mario World off. Which, by the way, Mario World's in a 6. So like it didn't drop too far. And you might go, well, why would you bump off Mario 64? I didn't have the heart to bump off Mario 64. Let's just be clear. I don't know if I could ever bump that out of my top 5. I just can't. It's the 90s. And then I wasn't sure on Mario Galaxy 2, and I don't have a way to play it right now. But then I what was it? Watched a video, like a Let's Play, just watching it. And I'm like, oh my fucking God. Why did I ever have? There's no way. This should have been below Galaxy 2. But here's the thing. Shouldn't Wonder be below Galaxy 2 and below Mario 64? And the answer is no, because I think it's better than both. For me. Mm-hmm. I understand if you prefer 3D Mario, so obviously you would, maybe not put side scrolling up, but this one side scrolling, this one, yeah, it does it for me. Now, my number 2 game, I don't know if this is a controversial entry because it's a very specific version of this game, but Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, because it's a single release. Yeah. Now, look, I have really fond memories of Super Mario 3D World, and almost all of them come from the Wii U. Almost all of them. Similar to Paul Gale, my fiance beat the game with me. We 100%. Yeah, we collected everything. It was awesome. Yep. Like, that really added to the experience for me. Now, I did play by myself as well, and it was still really good. It still held up. Now, I already enjoyed land and everything, so I knew I was probably going to like this game, even though it wasn't the full big, open sort of 3D game that people want. But, dude, 3D World rocks. And if you have a significant other or a good friend to play it with, I think I played a little bit with Eric as well. And I know it's new Super Mario Bros. Used a lot, so Eric actually helped me out on that game a bit. But like, yeah, man, I love 3D World. And then you toss on Bowser's Fury. I mean, what are we doing? What are we? It's open world Mario. It literally, that's what it is. It's open world 3D Mario. What? And it's good. Like I don't even care that the story doesn't really make sense and it's really weird. And you blow up and become a mega cat fighting, Gigabout. I don't even care. And I don't even care that it's not even that difficult. It's fun. And that's why I play Mario for fun. And like you combine those two together, I mean, come on. It at one point I had it number 1. But then I needed to record some Mario Odyssey footage for a video. And I see some of the people in the chat being like, oh, Mario Odyssey, almost overrated Mario game, overrated Switch game. It's fine that it's overrated for you. Because, look, how things are rated is up to the person who plays it.
Mm-hmm.
And while Tears of the Kingdom is my favorite game of all time, I'm about to say something that's controversial for myself. I don't know if it's controversial for anyone else out there, but for myself, because I've never given this to a game. Mario Odyssey is a 10 out of 10. And I don't even rank Tears of the Kingdom a 10 out of 10.
You gave it a 9.7, I remember.
Yeah.
You'd be right in line with Metacritic, so.
But this is about me. I have never given a game a perfect score.
Okay. It's just not controversial. That's all I'm saying.
I said controversial to me. You didn't hear what I said. It's controversial.
So, I mean, you know that movie about the emotions that are like their own characters?
Yeah, the emoji movie.
So right now they're having like it's chaos inside your head is what you're saying right now.
Yes, because I told myself I would never give a game a perfect score because there's no such thing as a perfect game. And then I played Mario Odyssey. My favorite game of all time is not Mario Odyssey. It's Tears of the Kingdom, and I don't give that a perfect score. But this game, I can't think of a single thing it could do better. It is, and you might go, oh, 4K. Okay, it's a resolution.
Yeah.
What?
No, I had someone tell me when I was talking about Mario Odyssey on a live stream, what do you mean you can't do anything better? It could be in 4K. I'm like, it doesn't make it a better video game.
No.
What are we talking about?
What?
If that's the nitpick, it's a 10 out of 10.
What?
So, for me, Mario Odyssey, and I understand it might not be for everyone, it has a sense of wonder to it, a kick of the nostalgia, combined with, to me, just perfect platforming.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually kind of like the story. Mm-hmm. And the whole ending sequence is my favorite ending sequence in any Mario game.
I almost never want to get rid of the Cappy. That Cappy mechanic to me,
it's
sorry to interrupt.
Feel weird.
That's really glider. It's
Yeah.
going to be hard to go back to a 3D Zelda game without a glider to navigate the land. It was so much fun. And Cappy is kind of like that for Mario for me, where having something so quick and accessible to throw and to platform with and throw it, jump off it, pop, like that was.
I'm not even convinced that whether it's a glider or not, the next 3D Zelda game won't have a way to glide. We've been technically able to glide in Zelda for a while if you count cuckoos and other stuff.
Skyward Sword also had
literally had it, yeah. But obviously, Breath of the Wild made it freeform. Mm-hmm. Use it all the time, anytime you want. So I kind of get a feeling that I'm not so sure that we might be able to glide next Zelda game. I'm not so sure they're going to take that away, but we'll see. Maybe, or maybe they limit it more in some way. Maybe because of wind gusts or something. You can't use it all the time. But we'll see. Obviously, we have no idea. That game's so far out. It's hard to talk much about it. But
coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, coming out tomorrow. That's what the headline's about, guys. Switch 2's coming out tomorrow, launching with the brand new 3D Zelda game. So no, we I could talk about Mario Odyssey all night. Mm-hmm. I love this game. Yeah, it is gaming perfection to me. I'm sorry to people that disagree, and your opinion is correct for yourself. Mm-hmm. And in my brain, it is fighting against me calling it that. And I'm sorry. And my Zelda brain's like, what the fuck do you mean? I'm like, no, stop it. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't believe perfect scores have to be for perfect games because there's no such thing as perfection. But
that's me. I can't give a perfect score unless I think it's actually perfect. And no matter how much I love a game, no game's perfect. But then every time I replay Odyssey, there is not a single flaw in that game for my gaming taste. It does everything that I wanted to do and nothing more. And that
Is it replayable?
Yes. And I don't even like to replay games. And I'm saying that. For me, again, it's about my taste.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the big thing about replayability for me is if it is something I'm going to replay, it's not something I just replay back to back. Wait a year, come back to it. Wait a year, come back to it. Yeah. So that's me. That's my top 5. So we have one person. I was supposed to be the best for last, but the best for last apparently is Andres Restart, the workout fiend.
Heck yeah.
What do we got going on, man? See, I had to almost replace you on the show with another workout fiend. That's why Paul Gale's here.
There must be one.
Technically here for my topic.
Paul Gale's in much better shape than I am. Yeah.
Paul Gale's in much better shape than I think most of the world.
Yeah.
Maybe not the top 1%, but most of the world.
Give me another year. I'm catching.
Challenge. The Paul Gale challenge.
I
All
don't
you have
like.
to do is not stop.
I don't like these. Yeah. I mean, pretty much. I try to do something every day. Go to the gym 4 times a week. Play tennis or basketball. Do some rehab work. So, anyway, I don't like these lists because I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Mario 64. Like, I know I like Mario 64. I know Mario 64 has had a huge impact on my life.
Put it in there. Yeah.
What?
If it's not your top 5, it's your top 5.
Oh no, it's in the top 5.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just don't know what I put in as number 1.
Oh. Well, you don't have to give an order if you don't want.
Okay, I really don't. I mean,
It's hard.
to be honest. Even it's all of this is hard. But all right, let me just say what I'm gonna say. I like 2D Mario. I've 100%ed a few 2D Mario games, but not a lot of the older ones. Part of that is because of my age. I do have nostalgia for Super Mario World, but I haven't played as much of Super Mario World as maybe as I should. But anyways, I do feel compelled to put both Super Mario Bros. Wonder and Super Mario World as honorable mentions. They're not on the list.
Bless you.
Jeez. Man, I'm just allergic to all this bullshit. God.
Damn.
Yeah.
You're the one talking.
I don't know, man. I like the games, but I can't put them in the ranks of 3D Mario. I normally would not put 3D World so high. Like, I don't think 3D World wouldn't be a top 5 game for me, but it put into that conversation when you include it alongside Bowser's Fury. Because all of a sudden, Bowser's Fury is like, oh, this is like fun, unique Mario gameplay. It gives me a little bit of that open adventure experience that I like about prior 3D Mario games. But in 3D World is still like, you know, in terms of like the linear Mario experience, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just good.
That's what people wanted at the time.
Yeah, it just wasn't the right time for it, really. But man, this is tough. This is not even top 5 list. I don't even know how to do it. I don't know. I guess I'm number 1 is Super Mario Odyssey. Which is weird. It feels weird for me to put it number 1 because I don't think I have the nostalgia to put it as number 1. But this is what I can say about Mario Odyssey. Like Breath of the Wild, whenever I turn that thing on, I just have a good time playing it.
Yeah.
It's always fun. And the mechanics in Mario Odyssey are so deep. They're so elaborate and sophisticated. There's so much you can figure out with this game. It's insane. Like, and that's part of, I think one of the cool things about both Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild is that both of these games, people have figured out how to exploit the hell out of them probably more than any other game during the Switch era. Like, if we're talking about the 2 top games and just in terms of like quality, critical acclaim, it is Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey. Like they're the 2. right? And they both came out in 2017, which is crazy. They were both up for, Game of the Year. Mario Odyssey could have won it, but Breath of the Wild was the more, I guess, innovative game, which, I agree with that statement. But yeah, I think Mario Odyssey is going to age really well because it's always fun. Number 2, and it just doesn't feel right to me. I really don't want to. I don't like ranking these things, man. I just know I like it. I just know I like all these games. That's really all I really know. Ask me tomorrow. This list is going to be different. But number 2, I'm putting in Mario 64 because it has a nostalgia factor. It is revolutionary. It is still fun to play. I still enjoy loading up 3D All-Stars and playing Mario 64. As I do Mario Sunshine, which is in at number 3. I would put Mario Sunshine above Mario 64, but there's something that 64 does way better than Sunshine. It has a really good 120 stars. Sunshine does not have a really good 120 stars. A lot of them are blue coins that are kind of annoying. If it wasn't for that, if Sunshine had filled up, like instead of those blue coins, had like another world to get you to that 120 stars, it was like the others, it would maybe be like the second best Mario game ever to me. But it is a little janky. So I understand why maybe people wouldn't put it in that category, but it's still really good. So Sunshine at 3. You're going to hate me for this, but I am going to put Galaxy 1 and 2 together. I just kind of blur them. The same way I kind of blur Breath and Tears, to be honest with you. That said, I really like the final secret level in Galaxy 2. Like, I feel it's more fun to 100% Galaxy 2 than it is to 1. But they're both spectacular, and the endings are great. They're both awesome. I do kind of feel like when I go back to in 3D All-Stars, it's the way they kind of adapted the controls doesn't feel as nice as it was back in the Wii, but it does technically get the job done. And so then after that, I put 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. It edges out 3D Land, which I guess puts 3D Land out of the top 5. 3D Land I used to hold in higher regard than 3D World, but when you account for Bowser's Fury, it flips them. And so I guess that's my bullshit top 8 list.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. I mean, look, it's hard to go wrong, guys. I mean, Mario's awesome. I think it's just
I've 100%ed all those games, just for the record.
Hell yeah.
I take that back. Not Sunshine. I haven't gotten all the blue coins.
It is annoying.
Yeah.
It is very
That's the one thing. I need to do that.
Hmm.
But it's a chore.
All right. I think we can move on to our next topic. What are we talking about, Eric?
We are talking about the possibility of the Switch 2 launch window just getting insane, according to our very own podcast guest, Paul Gale. So, Paul Gale, if you want to go ahead and take it away.
What is going on, Paul?
Yeah.
Is this a leak?
I wouldn't call it a leak, but I'll tell you that it's an update of what I told Nate about a year ago.
An exciting update.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk on what he said a year ago.
Is this a rumor plus?
This is from good news to better news because it goes from one source to a few, basically confirming the same thing that development going into the Nintendo Switch successor is more promising than development was going into Nintendo Switch. So you can expect, if a few developers, and I won't even say the exact number, but more than 2, a few begins at 3.
A few is more than 2. Yep.
So I'll just say, if a few developers are having earlier access, earlier want to be developing for this system, that speaks well to the faith that they have in it. Like I said before, and this one was like a year ago, which was Wii U left a little bit of a bad taste in some studios' mouths. So the anticipation wasn't high for Nintendo Switch or NX as it was at the time. Games cost a lot. It costs a lot to port. It costs a lot to have different teams. And then if these sales aren't lasting, where's the incentive? If you're going to get even if you're going to get like a high selling system, but Nintendo's own first party software dominates too much, that could be a lack of incentive in a third party being on board. Like, okay, who cares if it sells 100 million if you're delivering all these bangers and there's no room for us? Then it comes back to like the old Nintendo stereotype. People don't buy Nintendo systems to play third parties. They buy it for Nintendo games. Third parties don't sell well on those. This generation, we saw it a little bit different with Nintendo Switch. The pacing was very good from Nintendo, but they left room all throughout the 7 years for third parties to shine. And you saw a lot of third party games find a lot of success. I mean, one off the top of the dome, Resident Evil 6, a 7-year-old game available for years, sold 1 million copies on Nintendo Switch, and it was only available digitally. Wow, 1 million for an old third-party game from an older era? And that's just one example of many. 69, chat, you know what's up. Games that are Nintendo first-party only cracked 1 million or above. That's not the third party. It goes way past 69. Ultra Street Fighter 2, over 1 million. People are like, really? That? Yeah. So anyways, my point in this is, I learned before from a developer that the anticipation and the drive to want to work with Nintendo Switch's successors dev kit is higher and more promising than it was going into Nintendo Switch. And like this part I will say publicly, because this part I've said before, it was at E3 2017. I went to a lot of developers' booths. So, I mean, I guess you could look back at E3 2017 and look at who was there at the show entirety, and then you could say, well, it was probably one of those 150 developers, and then you could be like, you could say it was one of those. There were
I'm going to do that, right?
There were like, I'm narrowing it down to these 148. How come?
And there's only like few hundred people working for each company. So I mean,
we're narrowing this down.
Several thousand people you can reach out to.
You know, and I asked because Nintendo Switch was new. Don't forget, like 17, we were already in love with Nintendo Switch for 3 months, but it was barely out for 3 months. We liked it starting in October at that presentation. We liked it more in January at the big event, but it was only in our hands for 3 months. And here I'm talking with several developers behind the scenes. How come so-and-so isn't on Nintendo Switch? And I got different comments of, we didn't think it was going to be that successful. Plans are to eventually port this. It's a little bit difficult when the horsepower isn't there, but could it be done? Yeah. Could it have been done earlier? Also, yeah. And then there also became a little bit of a distinguishing part later on that some developers intentionally didn't have games day and date. Like as the generation started to unroll, well, how come certain games came out later? The strategy was known. Now that it's successful, people could double dip. Oh, so that was a plan in some cases where it could be day and date, but if we release them differently, they can.
All these details are narrowing down the choices.
But now you fast forward a year-ish from when I first told Nate this, you know, and I put it up on Twitter too. Like I made it before X, so it was public, but I think I told Nate ahead of time.
Yeah, a couple days before.
You know, now one has become a few, so that means within that launch window, I don't know what is a launch window. I think a year is too big to be a launch window. But I think 9 months.
Yeah, Switch was 9 months. That's what
I think 9 months is a launch window. But
Reggie Fils-Aimé.
You know, but then again,
Could
like
be
if
one of those big,
if
tall, giant windows, you know, that you can't reach the top. You need like a giant ladder for.
If a system comes out in November, though, do you really consider the launch window all the way up until August? Because that's 9 months. See, it's a weird number. 9 isn't definitive. For Nintendo Switch, 9 worked because it came out so early in the year that you could say, man, the launch window was those first 9.5 months. But when a system comes out November 15th, its first 9.5 months goes until like August 28th. That's a weird time to close it off, right? Why not go to September 30th?
It's coming out in March anyway, so there you go.
I mean,
is it coming out in March?
I want it to come out March 7th because as long as it comes out March 4th or later, it beats the Xbox 360 record as the longest console ever before its successor came out. And Xbox 360
360 came out a year early.
Yeah.
2005.
Yeah.
Xbox 360 lasted exactly 8 years to the date till Xbox One. And Nintendo Switch passed Famicom's record, but now it only has to come out one day after March 3rd, and it beats Xbox 360's record. So I'm going for March 7th. I'm going personally for like no later than a mid-October small reveal, nothing too big to get the masses wild because you don't want to eat into your holidays, and no later than, or no, probably no sooner than a March 7th release. That's my small window. I would love to see it this month. I would love to see it next month in September during a direct, but
you got to be a little careful.
Wait. So when do you think it's getting revealed? What?
I think no later than like mid-October.
Yeah.
No later.
No
so
later.
It could be sooner.
So I think it gets shown off before mid-October. I think before October 20th we see it.
Oh, is this informed speculation?
No, not this one.
Clarify, you're being quoted by websites right now.
This is just looking at Nintendo's 2016, I think October 19th, 20th drop.
Just normal speculation.
So I'm just going with normal speculation, but it's harder to predict this time because last time, not to say they could care less, but they could care less if they impacted Wii U sales and how big this got because they weren't going to sell 7 million copies of Wii U. This quarter of this very precious October 1st through December 31st, Nintendo is probably going to sell around 6.3 million units.
Yeah, but they still have to also worry about the 3DS at that time, right?
Yeah.
They had 3DS sales. They had a sinking Wii U. So who cares if they had this beautiful thing in October? Who cares if it got so hyped that no one bought Wii U? No one was going to buy it anyways. And I liked my Wii U. I'm not trying to trash on it. Just reality was it was going to sell a few 100,000 or a couple 100,000. Big whoop. Nintendo Switch still can sell 6.3 million this holiday season. So if they have this October 20th reveal, my own speculation, or whenever, maybe a price drop at that time, or maybe very attractive bundles at time so they don't cannibalize sales. They can still have a good November, December, January, and then a similar rollout. But March 31st is the end of the quarter. They could show the thing off March 7th and release it freaking November and make the world say, oh no, I got to wait till November 2025 to buy this thing. Totally possible. It is possible.
That would mean a 5th year of declining sales. Just saying.
Also,
I don't know
what? Look at this. Sony just said in the last 3 months they sold 2.4 million PlayStation 5s on their 3-year, 4-month-old system. And Nintendo Switch sold 2.1 million, a measly 300,000 less. Yeah. And it's at 7 years and 3 months. So, and what's to say about Xbox Series and how much it sold in the last 3 months?
I have a little bit of a theory on that, though. I kind of feel
a weakening Nintendo Switch is still like right there up with the rest of Gen 9.
So about that, though, I think that's a little... I think I've seen people talk about it, and I think people are being misled a little bit because I think what's going on right now is that this is a down year for both Nintendo and Sony. Because Sony has the PS5 Pro coming. That's going to be a little bit of their refresh. They're not going hard on software this year. So
they haven't yet.
Well, reportedly they have no big games this year, right?
Yeah.
No big games, right?
No
but
big sequel games, I guess.
So my point is simply that they're 2.4. That's because they're not really going at it right now. The same way Nintendo's not really going at it. That quarter was remake, remaster, City, right? And Endless Ocean Luminous, which no one cared about. So, if you don't try, that's what happens. So I think it goes for both of them. And maybe we're putting a little bit too much stock into it 3 versus 7 years. Although I still think there's something to be said there. It does speak to just the staying power of the Switch. But
to me, it speaks to how hard it is to sell 140 million units. Only 3 systems in the history have ever done it. That's it. 3. The Sony's only ever done it once. So like it's very hard.
Well, I don't think Sony can really do it again because they're not going to have a DVD player.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
you know.
I kind of think like, and this isn't to that. Wait, Sony's platform's great. I want to be clear here. This isn't a console war thing. But just based on how all their systems have performed outside of the PlayStation 2, which people gotta admit it blew up because of the damn DVD player. I worked
at EB Games. I was 17 in October of 2000. I was selling PS2s, and the vast majority at that time, a DVD player that played games. It wasn't until a couple of years in.
I worked at EB Games in 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was October 2000 through May of 2001. Yeah.
But this
awesome.
is what's so crazy about the PS2. The PS2 as a DVD player was cheaper than other DVD players on the market, and it also played games.
Yeah, and coming off of the highly successful PlayStation that hit 100 million.
And they had momentum. It was a better deal than everything else on the market from a DVD player perspective. There was no way they weren't going to do extremely well.
Don't forget, it was also a CD player.
Yeah.
That was actually a big deal too.
Yeah, people played a lot.
If you didn't have a PlayStation, it played PlayStation games.
Yeah.
So it was backwards compatible. It played CDs. It played movies, and it was $300 when DVD players at Best Buy were like $350.
Yeah.
Basically, PS2 has the best lineup of all time.
It was the first.
We didn't have downloadable demos yet, so you had Pizza Hut demos and Gaming Magazine demos.
The
magazines,
demos, baby.
Yeah, those are the best.
Just mentioned pizza. Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm hungry too. I haven't ate in 7 hours.
I'm getting a burrito. I'm not joking.
It's fine. Go get a burrito.
PS2 was the first backwards compatible home console, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Because it was.
We had Game Boy that was backwards, Game Boy Color, and then DS and yada yada.
But I think home consoles.
For home console, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a game changer for the market too. That shouldn't. People got to understand that back then that was a huge deal that you could play your old games.
Yeah, on PS1.
Yeah, that was a really big deal back then. They had so many unique selling points.
Yeah.
On top of the DVD, of course.
But I look at the rest of the PlayStation sales, and I kind of be like, well, PlayStation 4 hit 114, 117. Kind of feel like that's right around the cap of what Sony can kind of hit, maybe 120. But because all their systems are iterative, so you're kind of just hitting on that same audience over and over. And you know what? That's fine. Like Nintendo's probably about to release an iterative system here and hit on the same audience as Switch. It just so happens that audience is a little bit larger. Is that going to make a difference? I don't know. We don't know if they can repeat 140 mil plus again. That could be a unique thing that happened because COVID also played a role and also it kind of extended the life a little bit. Because maybe 2019 would have been the peak year instead of 2020. We don't know.
I think without COVID, I saw the trajectory going 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I think Nintendo Switch would have still sold, but instead of 2020 being the peak, 2020 would have been a little bit less, yet more than 19. 2021 would have been a little bit more than 20, but you know what I mean? That would have been the curve. And that's why
it would have chopped 10 million in sales off.
That's why we see such a long it didn't sell necessarily more because of COVID, but more in a year because of COVID. So it still would have gone like this a little bit more, like the triangle, the bell curve, the reverse bell curve, however you want to look at it. The tail would have still been nice because look at the percentage drops. That's why I was as accurate as I was. October, September last year, I said Nintendo Switch probably the next fiscal year is going to sell 12 million. Fast forward 6 months later, what did Nintendo say? 13.5. How was I so close? Well, I didn't know that a Metroid Prime 4 Beyond was definitively going to come out. I didn't know yet about Mario and Luigi Brothership or Zelda Echoes or a new thing. But just based off of the stats, the analysts me analyzing it, I should say, that's what it was. And I was close enough to 13.5. So they knew something I didn't, obviously. It's going to be fine. So when people are like, oh, man, there's no way it's going to hit 160 now. It won't hit 160 only if Nintendo doesn't want it to. And it's a weird thought, but that means they would have to shut down their manufacturing lines and say, we're freeing up all lines to make more Nintendo Switch 2s. But I don't think that's the case because there's still some profit margin to make on base Nintendo Switches. There still is a demographic out there that doesn't own the system yet. If they could get Nintendo Switch into India, that's another 1.5 billion people that don't have access. In China, that's a slow rollout. If they could get more in there,
India would be huge.
there's more opportunities.
They're big gamers out there too.
I also think that, like, when you consider that no matter what, let's say there's no price cut this year, but whenever Switch 2 comes out, there's going to be a price cut. There will be. And that would make Switch their budget entry point. So why wouldn't they just keep selling it? As long as I think that it's going to sell well for a while. When I say well, guys, I'm not talking about like now, like 13.5 million. Yeah, they'll never have a year of 13.5 million with Switch again. But can they realistically let's say Switch 2 was a March release. Could Switch end up selling 5 million next fiscal year? Sure. Price cut. Still got a couple big games coming. Pokemon, Metroid, absolutely. So and then you go, okay, well, when are they going to stop making games for it? Well, I don't know. They kept making games for 3DS like 3 years into Switch. It's a big audience. It takes time to bring that audience over. So, yeah, they could maybe eke out another 5. So if you look at their sales now, they're on their path. They're literally on their projections. Like people, someone I saw in the chat earlier wanted us to like make this a topic. You better be talking about the decline in Nintendo Switch sales. And I just sat there. I'm like, okay, you mean the fact that Tears of the Kingdom doesn't exist this year? Because that's all that was. Nintendo literally projected 13.5 million. And after this fiscal report, are projecting 13.5 million, which means all they did is hit exactly what they thought they were going to hit. They did it. They're not doing bad. They literally told us at the beginning of this year, we're selling 13.5. It's a little ambitious, but we're selling 13.5. First fiscal report comes out, no adjustment. That means that they are on track. This is exactly what they knew would happen.
Yeah, it's going to go like 2.6, 6.3, 2.6. That plus 2.1, boom, 13.5. Then you're looking at 154.82 million by March 31st. Now you have passed DS by 800,000, and you are like 600,000 away from Sony's official 155 million record, but still several million away from the 157.68 or the 160. But yeah, like Nate said, it's not going to hit 13.5 again, but it could do 6, 5, 4.5, 3, 2.5, 2, 1, 1, 1, 500,000. Like that's how it goes.
If they hit their projections like they still are on target for, guys, they only got to sell like 7 million more over the next few years to definitively be the best-selling system of all time. That's perfectly reasonable since they'll probably still sell Switch for at least an additional 3 years. It's not crazy to think they could eke out a few million each year after Switch 2 comes out.
Yeah,
with a price cut. Still, by the way, next year. That's one reason I think Switch will still sell well next year, even if Switch 2 does come out early, is just because Pokemon Legends and Metroid Prime 4 are coming to Switch. It's happening. Price cuts are going to be there. It's going to be a cheap entry point to play these 2 mega games. I especially for like Metroid fans that maybe been waiting that long. You never know. I think it's going to help with that. But I have to ask this question because you said, hey, look, I was like, all right, this is not informed speculation. I am speculating that, by middle of October, I think before then. Cool. We all speculate. That's like one of the funnest things we do on the internet here and on making content as we put our guesses out there. But I didn't clarify this, and I'm pretty sure I already know the answer. But there's a little birdie out there, another journalist who has said that his third-party sources have indicated the system's coming out in March. Now, right now, he's like the only person that's really like planting their flag in it, and he hasn't budged, and he's still around, and he's being consistent about it. Now, he has no idea when it's being revealed. He has made no qualms about it. I don't know if any third-party company at this point truly knows exactly when Nintendo's revealing. They might know rough release timing because, again, they got to plan their stuff around it. But I don't know if anyone besides, unless you're one of the third parties in the trailer, in the reveal. I don't know if you really know when it's going to be revealed.
Even then, they might not know.
Yeah, and even then, they might not know. Like, that's the thing. It doesn't really matter. What matters is when does your game come out. But, you said March 7th because that's just a really cool number. Right? It's a cool number to pass 360, still come out in March. But you also have some little third-party birdies. Was March in general just more speculation or informed speculation that you hedged your bet and said, well, the Nintendo said this, so it could be revealed in March and come in October next year, but I think it's March.
Paul Gale, do you want to go for a jog?
I gotta ask the hard questions. They'll never let me go if I don't ask the hard questions.
It helps that I don't know when different companies' specific games are coming out necessarily. That I cannot.
So carefully. Great.
It helps that I don't know when.
I'm just guessing, and now he's just like.
It helps that I don't know when specific games from companies are coming out. That my opinion isn't like, well, I know that this game is technically scheduled for this quarter or this month or this date. So I think Nintendo Switch's successor would fall in line nicely with this game coming out in this quarter. So it launches alongside. So I will say that is just that March 7th is just on me. I might not have even said that if I knew more than I did, because if I knew more than I did, and I don't even want to say a game now because now it's risky business. But if I said, oh, I think Nintendo Switch is going to come out on June 15th because so-and-so game is coming out on June 15th. Oh, so I just made that up. So don't even read into it. What's June 15th?
Yeah. He's giving me why like he was dancing carefully because I don't know.
The date is a total guess just because the number is cool and it kind of makes sense. But honestly, like I said, I could see the thing coming out in June. And the reason for that is a month like March, where it's the end of a quarter that you end a quarter strong. It hasn't been done since the Japanese N64, if I'm not mistaken. No, I think a DS Lite came out like June 11th, maybe, but that was a revision sort of model. There's different ways you could release the thing too close to the new year, like January, February, and rub a lot of holiday people the wrong way. Because I wish I waited a couple of months, you know what I mean? But if you got it over the holidays with a deal, knowing that the successor was out, then you had a little bit more informative an opinion. Oh, I could buy a Nintendo Switch Lite and get into this awesome ecosystem that I haven't been a part of for only $150 instead of buy this $400 machine in 2 months. Yeah, that's good enough for me. Oh, I could buy the base Switch for, $250 right now instead of $400. Yeah, good enough. There's a lot of people like that. So there's such a fine line this time around between too early and too late. Too late, you hurt people's feelings. Too early, you cannibalize sales. And you're eating into successful systems. So that's why I could see maybe they don't show it off until February and it comes out in June. Then you don't really hurt anybody's feelings. Like, oh, okay. I mean, maybe some people's will hurt. Like, I gotta wait another 6 months. What the heck?
I've been on mind that anyone buying a Switch this holiday, I don't think their feelings could be hurt. One, there's already been a public announcement the successor is coming. Like Nintendo's not even hiding it. They announced it's coming publicly, and it's been reported everywhere. Now, I understand not everyone follows gaming websites, or even like it was reported on CNN and all these, like it went mainstream because it's official. It's from Nintendo. But even if you didn't even hear, bottom line is it's year 8. If you're someone buying a Switch in year 8, you ain't worried about launch of Switch 2. because you're not going to buy Switch 2 at launch. It's going to be expensive. It's going to be $400. Games might be $70 a pop. Probably not really worrying about getting that system anytime soon if you're buying a Switch right now anyways. You're looking to get in cheap, maybe at a nice bundle, when Nintendo games are kind of cheap. Some games are dropped, like, dude, some games have dropped a lot of. Nintendo this year is doing what people say they don't do. They're dropping prices on games. Their games are frequently $45. Frequently. Even games that came out last year are frequently dropping to $45 all the time. Now, it could just be retailers, but Nintendo's had official digital sales. So I kind of just look at it as Nintendo knows what they're doing. They got to get things cheap because that's the selling point this holiday. Yeah, we got a couple games, a couple new ones. Those will be full price. We got to get, we're hitting the budget people now. We want to hit the budget. And if you're picking up a Switch this holiday, I think it's going to be price cut. And I think when you're looking at buying, say, a Switch OLED for $250, you ain't even worrying what Switch 2 is at $400. That just sounds like too much money to be buying my kid this holiday anyways.
And you mentioned, exactly. I don't want to hog the sales talk too much and stuff like that, but you mentioned something important. Pokemon, it's so big that, you know, it transcends one audience, right? There's older gamers that have, you know, grown up with it. It's still around. We're in our late 30s, early 40s or beyond that we like it. But there's kids, and there's new kids every year. And the 3-year-old, or the 6-year-old now, that was 3 years ago, was too young to play Sword and Shield, was too young to probably think of a Nintendo Switch or hold a controller in his or her, that individual's hand. But that 3-year-old now, that's going to be turning 4, or that 3-year-old that's now 6, right, turning 7, sure. that family doesn't have the system yet. When Pokemon ZA comes out and the cartoon is out, Nintendo Switch has lasted so long. That's who these games sell to. And before people say, oh, yeah, it's only going to sell to the audience that owns it, it's not going to sell new systems. No, because even though there is such a thing as market saturation, if something is strong enough, it can last past market saturation. Japan has 125 million people. Nintendo Switch has sold 34 million in Japan. Now, that's not going to say it's going to sell another 90, but that goes to show you it's sold to a quarter of it. That's why every week it's like, dude, another 15,000 people bought Mario Kart 8. Yeah, because, you know, there are new kids now that weren't 7 years ago alive, 6 years ago, 5 years ago alive, or of the age to play it. So the families have incentive to buy it because the system is still healthy, it's still vibrant, the ecosystem is still talked about, played about. You know, like PlayStation 2 sold like 54 million in the United States. Nintendo Switch is creeping up on that, 53 million. Is it at the tipping point? Not necessarily. I mean, there's 333 million people in the US. Not to say it's ever going to hit that, but that's a sixth. There's room to sell more. A product can only penetrate a market so well, but the longer a product is along, if it's still being supported and talked about, it keeps it viable and fresh. And that's why Nintendo Switch's sales are going to continue, and it's not going to just be software. The software ratio is going to start to exceed. This last update, Nintendo Switch software to hardware is like an 8.83 to 1. That's the global. But the software to hardware ratio sold in the quarter was like 18 to 1. Huge. You know, their projection of 13.5 hardware and like 125 million software, that's like 14 to 1. They know it's only going to sell more and more, but they're anticipating new people buying new games, not just the older audience that already owns it buying new games. Anyways, that's all I wanted to contribute on that, because I see it too often. Like, dude, everybody has it. Who's else buying it? Nobody wants one. Buy the new one. If you're a family that wants to get into gaming, all of us are invested. We're already glued in. We probably have multiple Nintendo Switches, and we have them for our husbands, wives, kids, daughters, etc., sons. You know, we bought one for a friend. But a lot of people, their first system, what do I want to get? What are my kids' classmates playing in kindergarten? $500 PS5, $500 Xbox, a $400 Nintendo Switch 2. Oh, this $1,000 iPad. I don't know, this $150 Nintendo Switch Lite that their older brothers and sisters are talking about, or I can't stress enough. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
The system's still going to sell. It's still going to sell.
So just do a quick recap and remind everyone, hey, we have a Q&A session like towards the end of the show.
Coffee. Sorry.
You guys want to super chat and get your questions in. That's how you guys that are watching the live show can get your questions. We got 0 questions at the moment, which is all right. If we have 0, it is what it is. But I just want to clarify before I try to get Thunderstash's thoughts in on some of this stuff, and Andres Restart and Eric, specifically, obviously, on like the whole idea of this whole launch window and like the insanity that could be coming because of third-party support. Just to clarify, since we have the man in the room, Paul Gale Network today, yesterday, whatever, put out a public tweet that he, as he clarified today, more than 2, not 1, more than 2, not an exact number. He's not saying 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, it could be 20 for all we know. We don't know. But more than 2 people in the industry have made him aware of excitement from developers, in particular third-party ones, because he clarified that, hey, these are people that weren't necessarily excited back in 2017 about bringing games during the launch window to Nintendo Switch 2, whenever that launch window is, or however long that launch window is. And kind of inferring potentially maybe AAA, we don't know. Could be indie, could be all of the above. But indications from yet another person, because by the way, Paul Gale is not the first person out there to be like, support from third parties is going to be baller, basically. Tom Henderson was the first. Said it last year. When the thought was the system was coming out this year, by September of this year, we were going to hear about a lot of really big third-party games all being like, and also on Switch 2. And well, you know, Call of Duty is one of them. That's already publicly confirmed. So, just put out there, this is just another person with their own sources saying, and this time specifically in the launch window, could be a lot of big games. A lot of big games coming that aren't Nintendo published. Of course, we already know there'll be Nintendo published ones. That's it. So let's kind of toss that to other people. Unless Paul, did I misspeak?
No, that's accurate. Yeah.
Clickbait.
Clickbait.
I think everything that you said is good.
We don't know shit about the launch window. If you guys are hoping to get like exact games, obviously he's not going to do that.
No.
And I've been careful too on X. I'm liking everything.
Yes.
I'm responding to everything. Like, that makes sense. That would be cool.
You're not going to get any Pioro. He liked something and gave it away.
No.
Have Life 4.
Yeah.
Someone says something. I agree. That would be cool.
Unless one of his little birdies is like literally just in his ear being like, leak it. No. Even then, he still might not do it just to stay consistent. So just saying that if you're coming into the show hoping to hear specific third-party games that are going to be in the launch window, I knew that wasn't going to happen. But Paul's connected. So connected that he's being mass reported now by big news websites. So I'm just saying they know that Paul's legit.
I mean, he could be tethered even. Like, he might be plugged into that computer he's typing on.
Shit. He might be a puppet. So, that being said, with now another person, a friend of the channel, having their own people building up hype for the launch window, how are you guys feeling about this launch window with the third parties? You want to go next, Andres? I see you over there. You're like, you keep getting the fingers all over the place. No? You don't want to tell you?
I just want to get that Switch 2 teaser.
Well, no shit. I think that's all we all want that.
I just want that teaser to finally happen. I want to
a year from now. Just tease it. Just give it. No, I mean, we're gonna get it by March. It's gonna happen.
So what I need is for it to happen sooner than that. I'm tired of waiting. I want this console in March. I've accepted it coming this holiday. That's obvious. Right? It's been obvious for a while. It better come in March.
I've accepted its release in 2025.
Bless you.
And based on what Nintendo said, should be teased by the end of March of 2025.
Yeah.
I've accepted because that's a fact. Or I shouldn't say releasing in 2025 is technically a fact. It's not.
Desires aside, you
What?
know, something that occurred to me, we were having our DM exchange the other day.
I don't know which one.
With the,
I guess
I know. I'm going to talk.
Sorry.
You'll know. When considering that the Switch 1 teaser happened October 20th and the console released March 3rd, I checked that was about 19 weeks, right? Which is basically 4.5 months. Not that long. Even if you operate under the assumption that somehow they're going to have a longer reveal to release window, let's say 6, which I think if we're being realistic, it probably is going to be shorter, right? But let's say it is longer. The latest we can expect the console to come is September. Because Nintendo already told us that by the end of the fiscal year. And that's assuming they reveal the console at the very end of the fiscal year. It's probably going to happen before that point. So I think it's reasonable to expect the console summer at the latest. Based off that logic. And I don't even think summer is a good time to release it. I mean, basically, I think March, it should be March, but maybe it's April or May or some diddly squat like that. But
one thing I'll say about March, and besides obviously the wishful thinking and the wanting it then and the PhD.
There's the wishful thinking and the wanting.
There's
the
confirmation bias and the
hopium and all
that. You get hopium, copium, confirmation.
What I just explained though,
yeah.
That's factual like logic, right? Like It is a fact that it was 19 weeks between reveal and release for the Switch, right? That teaser trailer to release, right? And it is a fact that we are going to get substantial details about this console before the end of the fiscal year.
Well, at this point, any details would be considered substantial. They can literally give us a code name and say it's launching like they did with NX. NX will be launching in March of 2017. It could literally just be that, which would be kind of disappointing, but it is a detail and it would be a big deal and it would be all the headlines. However, I think because I gotta remember, Nintendo never said what they're going to tell us about the system.
Yeah,
by March of 2020.
I'd be happy with a logo. I would dig a logo.
They literally just said there will be an announcement of some type about. It's like, okay, well, what does that even mean? You can announce anything. You can announce the system won't be coming out till 2026, and that's the announcement. Like that's what I was like. That would suck. But I'm just saying that we technically don't know that it's even going to be a proper teaser.
Was that we will make an announcement about the successor to Nintendo Switch.
That's what
within this fiscal year. Yeah.
An announcement, and an announcement can be anything.
It could be the that tweet from April where like, hey, this console's coming out.
I'm like, yeah, it's coming out it's coming out summer of 2026. Like, oh, well, shit.
So I mean, if it's that as opposed to a teaser, I mean, we're cooked. But that would be bullshit. That would be bullshit. You don't announce like this is them announcing like what half a year in advance or more that they're going to make
another announcement.
No. I would say that odds are that announcement is going to be something that will literally say announcement in the title on YouTube.
I'm going to tell you something, Andres. I know I'm going to lose this bet, but I want to lose it. We should do a one-chip challenge bet that Nintendo will not drop an actual teaser this fiscal year.
Which side are you on?
I'm on the side that it won't happen. I'm giving him the free win.
What are we
You're giving him the 64% odd. Remember, I told you. I know.
I was about to ask you about that. Like, hey, you said you were rounding. Were you rounding down from 100?
Rounding up.
Oh, my. Again, he's already told us he doesn't know it's going to get revealed by October, the middle of October.
But there is I could say it's very close to exactly 64% chance that Nintendo will reveal Nintendo Switch's successor this year. So even though I said there's a possibility that it gets shown off in February or March 30th, there is a 64% chance specifically almost exactly. I won't tell you how I know this, but I know this that it will get shown this year.
Okay, you're not bullshitting me right now.
No, this is 100% fact. You know your meme. 75% of the time, I'm 100% correct, right? You know that one. I'm telling you right now, though, not jokingly, there's a 100% chance that there's a 64% chance it gets shown off this year.
So it's bullshit.
No. I'm saying not jokingly. It is just under exactly 2/3 that it will be shown off.
But what's
I'm buying.
leading you to 64%?
There's a reason, but
there's a reason he can't give, is what he's saying. So he does know something, but there's no he can't actually give any details on anything.
You could speculate. Oh, maybe this many developers, and then here's one. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say this.
Said more than 2, so there's 3, and 2 said this year. Got it.
Of the developers, what percentage of those developers could be it? Of the games of the sales projection, what percentage of days of that,
what are we wagering?
Flipped everything on its head. From I'm just speculating to actually this is legit. There's a 2/3 chance it's being revealed in 2024. And
what are we wagering?
That's
the wager was doing the hot chip challenge on live stream.
What's a hot chip?
Oh my!
The one chip
you
challenge.
the world's hottest chip, super duper spicy.
Yeah. Are we eating nachos?
No. Oh my! He does not know the one chip challenge. Google it. Oh my god!
Google one chip challenge.
Google the one chip challenge. This isn't even new. This has been around a while.
Yeah.
One chip.
People do it. They cry.
I've done it.
I'm basically handed you the dub because Eric had to do it and I didn't have to do it on a live stream. So I'm basically causing myself pain for all of your guys' entertainment. Just to hedge a bet that on the off chance Nintendo is going to be a little bit of a.
So what is it? Just a really spicy potato chip?
Yes.
Well,
That's an understatement.
Tortilla chip, but yes,
I haven't had it, and I love spicy. I'm tempted, but
The
I'm
only
sure
reason
sure I
why
would cry too.
it has
anything to
things
me
in
is-
it you can't drink. You have to it's got a list you're trying to have.
I don't think it's a good deal for me.
Oh, you're not. See, I figured you'd take it because you get the free dub.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. What do I get out of it?
You get to watch me get tortured.
Send your buddy to the hospital.
Contrary to popular belief, that provides me zero enjoyment.
Oh, you don't enjoy me being tortured.
No,
it's not actual torture. I'm not gonna...
listen. I don't enjoy your pain, but I also don't enjoy your suffering. I'm just neutral.
Do you enjoy his pleasure?
No. I just
what he's admitting right now is he doesn't enjoy me. He doesn't actually like me in any possible way. Nothing's.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying
my good times. Doesn't enjoy my low times. He doesn't think I'm entertaining because the whole point of this was to be entertaining.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
No, all I'm saying is just from a logical perspective. If I have nothing to gain, why risk?
We have the
losing at all?
same game. It's the same game.
No, I have nothing to gain because I don't enjoy your pain.
Well, if you're wrong, you can argue there's a gain in having a very entertaining live stream on your channel, which might raise you some money.
That is the positive.
That is a positive.
I guess.
I don't want to see you go to the hospital.
I'm not going to go to the hospital.
Yeah, you never know, man. You never know how your body's going to react to that one chip.
I did. I did.
Does that chip have any shrimp in it?
Multiple trips down to Bomb Highway. I've done the last dab. I literally took a bite out of a Carolina Reaper and survived. I will be okay. Does it hurt? Is it painful? Will I be eating more chocolate and milk that I've ever had in my entire life? Probably.
Honestly,
but
I'll
be all right.
Really not
terrible. Right. And he handles better than me with spice.
The only reason why it got me was because one, I hadn't eaten anything, and two, it was stale.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have a full belly when I do this thing, and I'm gonna have my ice cold beers ready. It'll be good.
That's the only reason why it got me.
I will wash it down with a cold beer and a shot of Don Julio. Be all good.
Oh, that'll be entertaining then.
Yeah, it'll be entertaining.
Yeah,
that's the whole point for me. It's entertainment. If I lose,
this is a good deal.
But see, now he's thinking it's all a good deal for me because I'm the one taking the side that's probably gonna have to do it.
Steve thinks
How
it's a
about you
great
just
deal.
wanna
and
do it?
Maybe he should take
No,
the
no,
bet.
no, 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 no. I have to earn doing it. I'm not just like doing it to do it. I'm not that insane. If I wanted to just do it, I would just make a live stream. Hey, come watch me do the one chip challenge after licking the Switch cartridge. You know, I don't know if that's a really good angle for it. Maybe I got to blend a Switch cartridge.
Switch
Put it in the
cartridge
smoothie.
ice cream.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Anyways, no.
buddy.
This is
All right, so I
sounds dangerous.
tried to convince Andres he's not biting. All right, it's fine.
Nope, not falling for it.
It's fine. Yeah, I tried.
Listen, even if I know I'm gonna win, it doesn't make any sense for me to risk losing. I don't want to win. There's nothing to win. I mean, I guess there's a W. I like W's in general, but like, you know, it's not even a fun game.
Gloating rights.
Over what? Over
That I-
something I already know you don't believe in?
I actually have started to like think Nintendo's not actually going to give us a real TV.
Yeah, I'm not even
You?
I'm not even gonna humor you
All right, it's fine.
because that's bullshit.
But it's not. I actually
It
don't.
is. Listen, it's one thing to have doubts, but your doubts aren't what you truly believe. Your doubts are rooted in fear and concern that you will have to wait months before getting anything interesting to talk about.
No, I have some reasons, but I haven't told you those reasons. But
That's
it's
okay.
besides the point. My reasons are not as good as Paul Gale's reason of a 64% chance. Exactly.
Well, what are the reasons?
100%
Then?
chance of a reveal of Switch
What are the
2
reasons?
this year?
Why do you think the Switch 2 is not even getting revealed until after the fiscal year?
Not revealed till after.
That's what he's wagering.
Yeah.
No, he's not. He says
That's what he's
calendar year.
that's
Calendar
what
year.
he's wagering.
Yeah,
He's
I was wagering
wagering.
that it's literally just an announcement of a future announcement,
Oh,
basically. Or they could even say, "Oh, a release date," but that's still not like that's not.
Bro, listen. It'd be one thing to have a debate or bet on if Nintendo's going to provide a teaser trailer in this calendar year, but you're not even doing
Eric's
that.
like, "I'm out of here." This shit.
Bullshit is what it is.
See, if I had done this bet with Eric, he probably would have
Listen.
already taken it by now. But
Listen,
it's not as fun. It's
Right,
not as fun if I
on.
took it with Eric.
where the flip is it?
Well, yeah, he still do it, and like everything benefits me. I'm trying to make sure, like, hey, if I actually am wrong or am right or whatever it is, somebody else actually benefits. It's not just me.
Probably actually ask you for break off part of your chips.
Yeah, you probably fucking would just because you want to try a non-stale one. Oh god.
I want to share this. real
All right,
quick.
so I tried. All right.
Yeah, let me
This
share
is
this.
what
real
happened.
quick.
I can't get Andres on any challenges or any bets. It's fine.
No, I'm getting
Um,
riled up.
I tried. I'm sorry.
Let me share you this. Share this.
I'm
real quick.
trying to provide entertainment to the people, and I just got shut the hell down. You're sharing something? I don't know what you're
Yes, let me share it. It's not anything explicit.
sharing. Okay, I'm gonna say right now, I don't know what this is, but it looks spicy.
No, it's nothing spicy. I just read it. It's nothing crazy. It's just when Nintendo announced something about the
know.
Switch 2.
Yeah,
But they say we will make an announcement about the successor to Nintendo Switch within this fiscal year. So,
that's exactly what you just read off.
Right.
It says. This has been in like 30 of my videos.
I do not think that there. I know this is nothing crazy. I just felt like it's just for the sake of conversation, it's just good to have the imagery up there.
Sure.
I don't think there is a snowball's hell in chance that when they say announcement, it's just going to be another tweet in March.
All right.
There's no way.
Let me
There's no way.
I'm gonna modify this bet. What terms would you accept for this bet that would benefit you?
I don't want to make this bet.
See, look at this, guys. I could be like, look, if you're right, I pay you $2,000, and he'd be like, well, yeah, but if I'm wrong,
This why you want me to make a bet on something that I'm not committed to, and I don't even think you're committed to.
well, I would take the side that you.
How about we wait until we're actually both passionate about something?
This is what I was saying. I basically just said I'll give you $2,000. You still won't take it. So all right,
No, because
Moving
it's
on.
bullshit.
Thunderstash. What do you think of this whole launch window situation? Are you getting excited? He's like, I'm so lost at what are you talking about, Dior?
The launch window situation.
Yeah.
Yes, I meant a snowball's hells and chance. I don't think there's even a snowball's hells and chance that announcement is going to be an announcement. Like it's not going to be another tweet.
All right, we're moving on. Thunderstash. What are your thoughts on this whole launch window stuff?
As far as the games,
Yeah.
third party,
Yeah.
yeah, I got a list here. Some of these I've said before on other podcasts, but maybe some I haven't. I think we're going to see Capcom really come out and represent.
Capcom!
Oh, God.
Few titles.
He's speculating on titles that can come out. Just to clarify,
Yeah.
as far as I know, Thunderstash is not an insider, or maybe you are.
Resident Evil. We're going to see representation there. Street Fighter. I expect Street Fighter 6. Why would they not? I mean, think about it, guys. Paul mentioned it earlier too. The sales of Ultra Street Fighter 2. They'd be crazy to not have that at launch. That will be there at launch. And we're going to see Monster Hunter. I obviously I don't know. None of us know. I mean, I want to speak for everyone. Maybe Paul knows, but Monster Hunter Wilds, as far as whether that can run, will it be able to run on Switch too? I hope it can. I expect Monster Hunter, though, definitely to be represented on Switch within that launch window. Ubisoft is usually a company that no matter who the console manufacturer is, they're there at launch with a lot of games. Like you guys know that. It's been going on for decades now. And I think Capcom is going to do something similar as far as that representation goes, but for Switch 2. Obviously, I expect Ubisoft to be there in some form, probably with latest Assassin's Creed. Elden Ring, I expect that 100%. Again, why not? A complete edition makes total sense. Metaphor ReFantazio. I have that pre-ordered on PS5. I expect to see that. I expect Persona. Reload. Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy. I 100% expect this. I would be shocked if we don't get the Remake Trilogy. Completely shocked. Especially considering the sales numbers for the Remake Trilogy. Square has been pretty open. They haven't gave specific numbers, but they've been open that it hasn't sold as many units as they would have liked it. Now, granted, Square's been saying that about pretty much all their video game releases in the last few years. So I don't know what's going on there internally with their sales projections, but you can make up for that on the Switch. Diablo 4 is another one I could see coming out on Switch too. I think that makes a ton of sense, especially with all the expansions that are now out or coming out. There's an expansion coming out on Game Pass later this year. I got one that's funny that it's just crazy to think about, but I think we're going to get Grand Theft Auto 5 ported one more time, but to Switch too. It just makes too much sense.
Buddy.
It's almost comical at this point. We got the GTA trilogy. I think GTA 5 honestly does make a lot of sense though to come to Switch 2. And I think we'll also get Red Dead Redemption 2. Because we got Red Dead Redemption. It's sold well from what I've gathered. I do think we'll get Red Dead 2 though, and it's going to run at 60 frames per second. I know it doesn't on PS5 and Xbox Series, but that's only because they haven't done anything with it. They haven't boosted it. Rockstar hasn't touched it since it came out on PS4 and Xbox One. I would not be surprised to see Cyberpunk at all. And then last one, which again, this is a series that is just perfect for Nintendo. It's easy money. I've never understood from the first time I saw this game when I picked up my pre-order at Toys R Us back in the day on PS2 is Kingdom Hearts.
Oh.
Easy money. Look, like, okay, we're all grown men and we play Nintendo, right? Nintendo's not just for kids anymore, like it, used to be said. But kids grow up playing Nintendo. They do. Kids grow up watching Disney. Those things have not changed. This is a match made in heaven. They can sell so many copies of Kingdom Hearts. And of course, guys, I'm not counting Kingdom Hearts Cloud. We can't count the Cloud game. We're talking physical, native, running on the Switch too. It makes total sense. And maybe we get Kingdom Hearts 4 too. If it can run on Switch too. I'm confident we get 1, 2, and 3. Easy money. As far as these games in the launch window, I'm still thinking, and I've always thought this, is that I really do think Switch was supposed to come out in 2024. I do believe that it was delayed internally. Reasons, I don't think the reasons really matter. All I'm saying is I think that developers have been working on games for Switch 2 for some time. And I think the fact that it is coming out later than what was probably originally expected means we're going to have, and I really believe this is going to be the biggest launch. It's going to be the best launch lineup of any Nintendo console ever. I really believe that, and I don't believe it just today. I believe this for a long time. That's just
saying
me.
That there's greater than a snowball's chance in hell that this lineup will be better than the Switch 1 lineup in 2017?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
Go
100%.
Go figure.
Yeah, I'm expecting the best launch lineup ever.
Look at how Nintendo has even said we're working on a situation to combat scalpers by releasing enough platforms at launch and the window beyond. Why do you think they have confidence? Because third parties are speaking to them in confidence. Because they've had access to and they're making games in confidence.
Paul just keeps adding to the pile. I love this. All right.
Oh yeah.
All right, Eric, you got anything to add? We got to talk Echoes of Wisdom, man.
Yeah, no, the one thing that I would just love to have happen, and I know it's probably not going to happen because it's a Monday, but just have it released on freaking Mario Day.
Yeah.
Just because.
Mario. Sorry.
Hold on, let me see.
That would be a Monday, right?
March 7th is a Friday.
Yeah.
And the 10th is a Monday.
So that's why I'm like, I don't know if it'll happen, but
They could say, you know what? Buck tradition. Monday it is.
exactly. Just for the fun of
Hey,
it.
don't they release games on Thursday now? So it's coming on a Thursday.
The biggest release window comes on the biggest day for Mario. There you go.
All right. Well, we gotta get to Echoes of Wisdom because that's actually been like the legit news. Not that Paul's not legit; he's legit as shit. But we have
I guess I won't tell you my thoughts on the launch window then.
Nah, you don't get thoughts. You talk too much already. Moving on. You're the one that always like we gotta get the show down. Well, hey, you want the show to be 5 hours because Echoes of Wisdom is like a massive topic. Don't worry, we're not doing a fourth topic, by the way. I'm gonna let you off the hook on it, Andres. But Echoes of Wisdom, we can talk about.
I'm getting sick. Poor
Yeah,
me.
you're a sativa snowball in Hell's with a chance. So
I don't even know what sativa is.
oh jeez, that's so bad. You don't even.
No, I mean I know what it is, kind of. I know it's something that does stuff to you.
That's weed.
I thought it was the fake sugar.
Yeah, I didn't know it was. I didn't know it was marijuana.
What is the fake sugar stuff?
I thought it was like some kind of drug, but
I think it's called that too, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it might be called.
Yeah,
that.
I think Paul's right. Yeah, it's a fake sugar, and yeah,
It might be. Let me look up sativa.
No, it's
gonna just keep coming up.
stevia.
It's gonna keep coming up with weed.
stevia or something like that.
That's sweet.
yeah, stevia.
Stevia.
It's funny, but every
Oh.
time I see the packet, my brain says,
No, it's
the same
totally stevia. Yeah, no. So they meant weed. They meant weed.
Yeah.
Oh,
they
It's a
definitely meant
scientific
weed in the
name.
context. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that cannabis sativa was a scientific name for marijuana.
Also, sativa, when you get the sativa, like if you get the gummies or the sativa-based plant, that's actually an upper that gives you energy and makes you happy versus the other one that gives you like sinking to the couch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's another type of cannabis, indica.
Yep.
Hmm.
And then there's hybrid, which is like a mix of the two.
Fascinating.
Anyways. All right. You learned something new today.
The more
Hey,
you know.
how by the way, the only reason I'm well versed on this stuff is because like my fiance uses it for depression. So that's the only reason I even know
You want to
anything.
know how I deal with depression? I sleep and then I play basketball.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to Echoes of Wisdom. Who had that topic? I don't even remember. Was it me?
Mhm.
All right, Kenny. I got the Zelda topic.
Mhm.
That's right. Andres wasn't here, so cool. All right. So Echoes of Wisdom, baby. There was a new trailer. I don't even call it. Is it like a new preview? I don't even know what you call this thing. Let's go ahead and get that on screen. We got to get that added in here. Oh, whoa, volume now. Do the volume.
No.
All right. So yeah, they dropped this nearly 6-minute tour of Hyrule trailer. This has actually been other things, more official art, screenshots, video clips off the Japanese website. In fact, they updated the official art in Japan, which I find extremely notable because there's a new character in that official art that's not in any of these trailers. But Echoes of Wisdom, man. Look, what are your guys' thoughts on all this stuff that's happening? Like, if you know everything, and even if you don't, if all you saw was this trailer this week, like, what are you thinking of what they're showing right now? Because before it was kind of like they sort of teased what the game was, and then they left it at that. This is like a deep dive. Like, we learned a lot here.
I mean, I think this might be my game of the year.
Before you've even played it?
Probably.
Okay. What excites you the most about this to say that? Besides the Zelda game. Okay, yeah.
The Deku Scrubs.
The Deku Scrubs.
Yeah.
I definitely did not expect them to be in the game.
I mean, there's a lot about this game that really excites me. The more I see it, the more excited I get. But like when you go on the website, right, and you see like Zelda using building a bridge of beds to get to a heart piece, like that makes me excited that the heart pieces are back. Because I didn't care. I don't know. I guess I wasn't as excited about heart pieces in the past, but now that it seems like they've kind of rectified the difficulty issue a little bit with Zelda, I feel more reason to perhaps go for heart pieces. And the fact that we can now come up with a variety of unique solutions to get heart pieces, that's exciting to me. And this is actually what I'm about to bring up might be a little contentious. But like, listen, I love Metroid. I like Metroidvanias. I do enjoy the concept of, you see something you can't quite do, you get a power up, you have that aha moment, you go back and you can start doing that. Like I do like that, but I'll also say, and specifically when it comes to heart pieces throughout prior Zelda games, oftentimes I see a heart piece and I can't do squat because I don't have the abilities yet until like 20 hours later, and I just don't feel the energy to go back to that part of the game for that specific heart piece. It's just not worth it, especially when the reward is just extra life, which I don't need because the game's already a cakewalk with no hearts beyond the 3. So I haven't really liked heart pieces that much in the past. But with the way Zelda is now structured and how if I see something, I know there's a way to get it as I am. It may get easier as you progress, but no matter what, or at least oftentimes there's usually a way to do something if you are creative enough. And so that alone is exciting to me, that this game does kind of have a lot of the concepts from Breath and Tears. The horse, that's a whole other thing. Like just the horse, and you see the camera zoom out a little bit, and it just kind of it looks like there's a little bit more freedom to the movement. You can vault over walls and fences, which you couldn't do in prior Zelda games. Zelda can jump now. She can jump down cliffs and up things. Like there's just a lot more flexibility to the movement and the gameplay compared to any other prior 2D Zelda. So I think I'm just going to love the puzzling. And I feel like they're also adding a lot to the lore. I mentioned like the Deku Scrubs before, and now they have sweets, but also there's the river and sea Zoras. And I had a brain blast earlier this week. This game takes place before Breath of the Wild and Tears, right? Because almost every Zelda game does. And what's interesting, when we look at the Zora in Breath and Tears, they kind of look like almost like a fusion of River and Sea Zora because there's a lot of different varieties to them. Some look like sharks. There's a whole bunch of different colors. And it occurs to me, prior to Breath and Tears, we mostly just have the Sea Zora. But the Zora in Breath and Tears aren't Sea Zora. Like, they look like Sea Zora kind of, but they're not in the sea at all. They're in fresh water, it looks like. But here we have this kind of, struggle between the sea and the river Zora. What if it leads to a harmonious union, and there's an implication that the Zora start to, coexist, and then generations later, the two Zora become one Zora race, hence what we see in Breath and Tears. So, like, there's just a lot of cool lore stuff I'm seeing, cool gameplay stuff I'm seeing. Like, I'm all over this. This is gonna be a good time for me.
Okay. I mean, heck, let's get Thunderstash, man. What actually you're chewing over there? I'll give you a chance to chew what you're chewing.
I'm good.
All right.
So I was already hyped for the game for obvious hype reasons because we all love The Legend of Zelda, right? So super excited. When I saw this trailer, though, there's a lot. One of the first things I noticed when I was watching it was it seems like, of course, that the game's going to be a lot bigger than other 2D Zeldas. It looks like it's going to be the biggest 2D Zelda game yet. The map size looks big. That had me really excited because I want a huge 2D Zelda game. There's been comparisons to this being like a 2D Tears of the Kingdom. And it seems like the discourse is some people have been excited and some people are like, oh, this is going to suck because it's a 2D Tears of the Kingdom, which I personally do not understand that. That is one of the original reasons I was excited when I saw this. Because, again, just like in Tears of the Kingdom, you have puzzles and they can be solved a myriad of ways. Like the way you solve a puzzle, and the way Andres does, and Paul and Eric might be different from how I do it, yet we all solve the puzzle.
And it's going to be fun to talk about, too. Like when we exchange our ideas, like, hey, how'd you get that? Oh, well, I walked on 17 torches. How'd you do that? Oh, let me tell you how.
Exactly, man. That's what's so cool about it. It almost feels like it's going to be a community thing, right? In that when we all play this game when it comes out, there will be a lot of that. And I remember when Tears first came out and I had live streamed it, and there was people in chat that were like, hey, you need to do this. And, that didn't work. And then I tried something else, and we're all just trying all these different things to solve the puzzle. And, someone else pop in chat and be like, this is what you need to do. But what I did worked too. Mm-hmm. And that's what's cool about this. Mm-hmm. The horse, dude, badass. When I saw that, I was like, no way, because we've never had that, of course, in a 2D Zelda, a horse. So this is the first time a horse is appearing. I noticed that the horse was different colors. Is that right?
There was a brown one and a white one.
Yeah. So don't know what's up with that. I don't know if you get an upgrade or you get different horses. I don't know, but I thought it was cool to see more than one horse, right?
I just feel like changing the skin color of the horse and calling that an upgrade is going to be a little sus.
Yeah, right. It could be for sure. But
this one's a Mustang.
I'm still wondering, like with the rifts, what's going on there. I'm still wondering if that is a possibility that we could have almost like a light and dark world, because if it's exactly like Tears, then we know what to expect with the underground. But what if it's not? Like, what if that is a passageway into the dark world and we have a light and dark world? I would love to see that. I love the light and dark world mechanic. I truly do. So there's just a lot going on here. Seeing this trailer, Definitely made my brain go a little crazy. And I found myself like rewinding it and kind of going through things in slow motion a little bit. And I know there's YouTube channels and websites that do that. And I don't do that though. I really don't. This is probably one of the first times I've done that. And it's just because I'm that interested in it. Like even this part right here, I was pausing it there to like kind of read some of the side quest stuff and just trying to see if I could pick up any details anywhere in this trailer that would give me more of an idea of what we're working with here. And then this too right here, the travel waypoints. So when I saw this, I'm like, they're not going to put waypoints in the game unless this is a big map.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's got to make sense. You're not going to put waypoints in there if it's a small map. So there's just a lot of stuff that has me just super hyped, and I already was hyped, and now I truly am even more hyped. This horse looks great.
Mhm.
Yeah, just I can't wait. Eric, what do you think?
Oh man, I love how it feels like it touches on a bunch of different Zelda games in and of itself, and it kind of just expands on a bunch of things too. So to me, I love this art style. I think it's really cool. So it gets me even more hyped, but it also has it opens up a lot more questions for me too. It's like, wait, what is this here? What does this do? Why are we doing this? This is awesome, but I'm just pumped. I am so pumped. I already have this pre-ordered, so it's I'm ready to go.
Yeah, and I just put on screen for people who haven't seen it yet the updated official art from the Japanese website, where you can see just a few new things, but the most notable thing is the top left corner with the guy parachuting in.
Mm-hmm.
Look, usually when you make it into the official art that advertises the whole game, you're important, but we don't know who the heck that guy is. He hasn't appeared anywhere else.
He could be as important as that Octorok.
Well, Octorok's or a common enemy you're going to see throughout the
So
game.
I will say this. I don't know if you noticed, but in this trailer, there's a moment where Zelda talks to a young Goron on a cliffside, and that Goron's talking about what appears to be a gliding mini game.
Yeah,
I think that's probably, and there's a person's name, I forget who, is probably the guy that's gliding at the top left of the screen, though.
yeah,
I
maybe
think so too.
Yeah, probably. I mean, that makes
Yeah.
the most sense right now.
Yeah.
You saw
Especially if
that,
they're on the mountainside, that's what they'll glide down from.
Sure.
you saw in that art too. There's that heart container.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Up on the
mean,
pillar. Yep.
yeah, it would make sense that you'd glide to get to that pillar.
Well, there's a variety of ways you could get there. You don't have to glide there. You could build
A bed tower.
Bed stairs.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you could.
Trampoline tower.
Yeah. There's the trampoline. So maybe you climb to the trees to the right, and then you build a bridge.
Maybe there's
Maybe
we haven't seen it yet, and there's bombs that you can just blow up the tower.
That's true too.
And drop
Do
it
we
down.
yeah,
know
or
how
maybe
many
you blow
beds you
yourself
can
up into
stack?
the air.
Um,
I think it's based on how many triangles you have. So at
On
the
the
beginning of the game,
Try guy. Yeah.
Mm.
yeah, we have
Triangles following
Yeah.
behind him. I think you could do like one echo for each triangle.
right, and at this point in the game, she has 4, but we've seen that she starts with 3. At least it looks like 3 in the beginning.
Upgradable, and I think someone somewhere pointed out there might be 5, but that might be the max. I don't know.
I doubt it's a max. It feels like something you continue to build on, but we'll see.
I have no idea.
I wonder if you get like a triangle.
Are you able to pause this as you go, or does it just play?
Yeah, I can pause it. Where do you want to pause it?
Can you go back?
To what?
Well, let's see if we can find the Goron that talks
I
about
think it's pretty
the
cool.
glider. I saw something else, but that would have been a tangent. It's
Is it?
probably going to be in the section where they talk about side quests, though. The Goron that references the glider guy.
Yeah, I don't remember where that is in the video.
Just let it play, I guess.
Yeah, just let it play and tell me when it's like time to play.
Yeah.
Because we saw
Yeah.
the Gorons now.
I mean,
Yeah. I bet we can get those rock roasts, though.
Those
it feels
rock
like a lot of
roasts.
things in the environment we can kind of just pick up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
I like
'Cause I've
how
also
new the
noticed-
game looks.
Oh, yeah. I love
there's not a lot of reused textures and plants and rocks.
mm-hmm.
Zelda is hopping onto different platforms, different
it's coming up.
pillars. It's different architecture, and the game looks like a fully realized, just they chose for a different perspective than a Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. It has that creativity, but that classic style and unique art style, different
That's
worlds.
That's right there.
Right.
That's it.
Oh yeah,
You just
right
passed it.
back a second.
The tornado one.
The Goron.
Like 3 seconds
Like
earlier.
let it play.
Hold on, yeah, I'll pause it.
Get ready.
Not this
Wait
one.
for the Goron. There.
Bam.
My brother said he'd do the glider ride with me, but now he won't play at all.
So do you get to ride the glider and play the
Yeah,
game?
it might
Is
be
that how
that.
you unlock
You
it?
see the Goron on the top left.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It doesn't. It's not the guy though that's in the air, but I mean they're very high up right now.
Mhm.
Does he mention a name? Is there any more text that comes up if you press play, or is that the one line? It's probably just the one line.
I think it's just the one line. Then it
Yeah.
goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see this all thing.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned here that in gameplay clip you can see that some echoes cost 2.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Summoning Link
Yeah.
costs all 8.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
well, right, yeah, probably if you could do an echo link sometime.
So something that I realized on my Monday stream or Tuesday stream, so yesterday, have you seen how Zelda can lie on the beds, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen some discussion how that makes the game really easy because if you can just lie on the bed whenever, you could just heal up all your hearts. Well, on the website, there's actually a clip of footage. That shows her lying on the bed and her recovering her hearts. I could share with you. I have the clip. I'll save it on my computer if you want me to show you.
Sure.
Is it easier that way? Am I allowed to?
I think I have it locally downloaded too. Is that the one you want? The one where the heart recovers?
Yeah, you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, where she does in the middle of the field on that.
Yeah, there's like a raised green.
Yeah, I'll grab
grass. Because she heals her hearts, but the way it's done is a little interesting because she has 2.5 hearts. Should I just wait until it's on screen?
You could just keep going. I will figure it out. I'm trying to remember where I put the videos. They're in a folder somewhere.
Maybe I have it.
Yeah, I have all the clips off the Japanese website. I just don't remember where I put them.
I could just show you my clip if that's easier.
Sure, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, since I don't.
If it's easier.
If you have it, yeah. I literally don't remember where I put them. I know they're on here. I downloaded them all and edited the video on this computer because I knew I wanted to clip for the show.
Sharing.
All
right. So I think it's this one. I might have picked the wrong one. I picked the wrong one.
You picked the wrong one, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, no, I didn't. Aha, it's right here.
Yeah.
I got 2 different clips. So notice here she has 2.5 hearts, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now it's gonna play. She's gonna heal 1/2 really quick, and then she's gonna sit there for a really long time and nothing else heals.
Yep.
So basically that's all I wanted to show.
Also, one of the clips they show that the echo the echo things you summon can be destroyed by enemies. So this isn't like you're in the middle of combat, you drop a bed and heal. Like you're gonna get wrecked.
Oh yeah, the beds they do break. Yeah, you can use them as a wall or something, but they will break. But the reason why I break with the heart thing is just because some people are concerned that you can just heal up your entire life bar. Based off that clip, no.
Enemy's gonna be attacking you while you're trying to heal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in your bed.
Yeah, it seems to be some sort of limitation to it. Like it might just be
you get up to 3 hearts and that's it.
If you don't like a gameplay mechanic that isn't integral, then don't use it. Like, Breath of the Wild lets you pause and go apple, 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 apple. If you want to, and if you're like, no, I don't want to do that, then don't. Make it more challenging. So if you don't want to fall asleep,
it is one of those things that is totally optional. Like you don't have to do it.
Yeah. I think it's cool.
You don't have to suck down the game. It's all right. I'll take them.
What do you guys think about the bind ability that was shown?
I love it. It adds that modern gameplay mechanic that was so big and innovative and something that they couldn't do back then into this game that in some people will say
welcome to Hyrule
experience because it's not as big of a visual tour de force 3D polygon extravaganza, multiple camera angles and stuff like that. No, it could be just as sophisticated as a title, just in an art style and setting that's not. But adding a smart gameplay mechanic like that, or something creative that you could pull it to you could pull it to it. It's just gameplay. It's going to be fun.
Yep.
Nintendo likes making experiences that people talk about. People don't like getting ruined by stories online. It almost makes you wonder, is this Nintendo's strategy and why they're so gameplay focused? Because people could share gameplay and people could get inspired by others' gameplay when it came to Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Years later, you're still seeing cool stuff. But people don't like getting spoiled on story. So maybe that's why their games aren't as story heavy. Not that they don't have that, but you know what I mean? Kind of goes with the company philosophy and the approach to spreading it to the masses. Dude, did you try this? Did you try that? Not, hey, do you know that in Ocarina of Time, blank is actually blank? Oh man, ruined it. It's more about the playing experience. So
Their gameplay leads to like word
stuff.
of mouth advertising, doesn't it?
Hey, try this. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Try this because it's cool.
Absolutely.
I want to mention though, I was looking up some Xenoblade stuff. I was reading the you know how they do the developer Q&As after some of their major games, and they did one for Xenoblade 3. And they were talking about how they actually don't do gameplay first at Monolith Soft. It's story. They have a story first and they build a gameplay around it. They did talk about how it kind of happens hand in hand, but the foundation is the story. But the Xenoblade games are very story centric games. Gameplay is still good, but it's definitely a different philosophy than a lot of Nintendo games, other Nintendo games, I should say, because they're still Nintendo.
Did you guys see they don't show it in the footage, but did you guys see the screenshot of the boss?
Yeah, the goal.
Yeah. We'll throw it up quick here.
Nate, you mentioned I think one of your videos about this game looks like it's going to have the most amount of towns.
I saw.
It looks like it.
It does. Yeah.
The most amount of towns. So this is like a screenshot they just shared. It wasn't even in any of the footage, but they just put it on the official website. I mean, look, I know where I'm supposed to hit them. I got that part.
Are you sure?
You sure?
Pretty positive. Pretty positive we got that part down. But then again, I don't have a sword. I don't swing it. So just drop some moblins. I don't know. I don't know how I want to approach the fight because this is obviously
Maybe you're wrong. Maybe it's not that purple ball thing. Maybe it's something else.
It's the left hand.
the purple eyes.
Obviously.
It's always up the ball or the eyes.
Or maybe you got to blow them up. Look at the shoulders. They look kind of crackly, you know?
Kind of crackly crack.
What if this is just like another version of the construct, the giant square cube monsters?
No. So maybe this is wishful thinking, but like I see the giant hands and I just go bongo style fight. Let's go.
Master hand?
Of course, then we don't have a bow, so
Also, don't we see this guy in the first trailer, but only like as it's coming out of the ground or something?
yeah, like the very top.
Yeah.
But now this is like the full look at. By the way, I'm assuming it's a boss, but maybe it's a mini boss. Maybe it's just an enemy. I don't technically know.
I mean, it looks like a cutscene.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying because of this cutscene look, I kind of feel like that's a boss. But
it could be one of those recurring bosses though, because Breath and Tears had a lot of recurring bosses. This might be one. It could be another Flux Construct.
Yeah,
maybe not exactly a Flux Construct, but something like that.
Yeah, it's worth considering because, like, guys, there's obviously a ton of Breath of the Wild / Tears of the Kingdom influence in this game, which, by the way, that's awesome for me because that's one of my favorite games. But, yeah, like I kept saying like, oh, this is a boss. It's about yeah, but it could be like one of those world boss respawns. We don't know. So that's one of those things. Like, you know, it does look like there's probably some form of like traditional style dungeons, but then I don't really know technically. There's some locations that look like they'd be like traditional dungeons, but what's a traditional dungeon when you can't swing a sword and shield and shoot an arrow?
I had a brain blast.
What happened?
It's a minor brain blast. I had an earlier brain blast, but so when you go to are we able to share the website?
Sure. The official Zelda one?
Yeah.
Let me get it up.
So something occurred to me that kind of makes a lot of sense. when you were talking about dungeons, something that came to mind to me is at the end of the trailer, we see Zelda walking into the giant rift, like with a really big wall, purple wall, and there's like a gold portal she creates. It got me thinking on what may be going on there, but I want to show the website first
Yep.
because it kind of lines up with my thinking. I think it's a theory. We'll see if it pans out. Spoiler, I don't think Zelda's going to the moon this time.
All right.
Can you scroll down to where it shows the outline of their next trailers? Right there. Oh, you skipped it.
Oh, the story Wisdom World. Got it.
Yes. Yeah. So that's basically telling us that more trailers are coming, right?
Yeah.
And I thought it was odd that one is story when they kind of already told us about story twice. And then the next one is wisdom, which feels like more story. You know, it seems redundant, but here's my theory.
Okay.
Wisdom is not story.
And that's not.
It's dungeon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. So hear me out. They keep talking about Zelda the Wise, right? The echoes, echoes of wisdom, right? And in order for Zelda to expand on her power, she's going to have to get more triangles. So my theory is that there's going to be these challenges that will expand on her wisdom, will test her wisdom, and she'll become wiser as she progresses, and thus have obtained more triangles and be able to do more things with the echoes and such. And I bet that that's what they're going to tell us about in this wisdom section. So it's going to have to do with shrines or mini dungeons or dungeons. That's basically my theory there, because it would be weird to have a fourth story trailer when yeah.
So my thought when I first saw this, and I didn't put that much thought into it, was okay, you have a story dedicated trailer, which I think is fine, because as much as they've like told us story, they haven't really told us much of anything, actually. Like we know like a premise. So fine, a dedicated story trailer. Because like today's trailer, or not today's trailer, but the trailer they had a couple days ago, that was, it had what they called it at the beginning, I can't remember. Because that was the theme of that trailer.
Traversing Hyrule.
Yeah. So all about traveling around Hyrule and stuff.
Which also seems redundant because they're gonna have a world trailer, but whatever.
I think it's gonna end up not actually being redundant.
I agree. It's just how we're interpreting
what we expect. Like as an example, when I first saw the wisdom thing, I was like, well, okay. Wisdom, it's just gonna be like using your brain to solve puzzles. They're just gonna show us a bunch of puzzle shit using the echoes. That's what my brain automatically jumped to, because the whole game's about using your brain to use the echoes in different ways to progress and do. So I figured that's what it's going to be. But then it's like, okay, but that's like primarily what they've shown in the gameplay. Do we really need a dedicated video to show us more of what they've been showing us the entire time? I don't know. That's why I like what your idea was. Well, maybe it's specific to they want to show us dungeons. Maybe they want to show us rifts, because we haven't seen a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, it might not be exactly dungeons, but the rift mini dungeon thing or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It like when she was entering that purple rift at the end of this trailer, it feels like they're obviously hinting at something beyond it, right? That it's an obvious hint. We just don't know what is beyond that. And so they're teasing it essentially.
Yeah.
Probably learn more about it in a future trailer.
Yeah. And then the world, obviously, I feel like it's kind of self-explanatory. You take a big look at the world. So this might be where we get like more side quest information and stuff like that, where we learn names of characters and like things you can do in the world besides just, the main.
Maybe let's show off overworld bosses.
Yeah, there could be something like that, because obviously it very clearly looks like it was based on Link to the Past map, expanded, 2-3x. And throwing a bunch of influences and other lands from Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, which obviously, timelines theorists are going nuts over this stuff. But I think the world, there's still parts of the world we haven't seen. They don't necessarily have to show all of it. They could. Like we haven't seen, the Snowy Mountain area yet. They haven't really shown that off yet. There's, kind of the Lost Woods area. They haven't shown that yet. But they don't have to necessarily show it all. They could. Because it's not like these areas are like new to Zelda fans. Like we know what these areas are in, what they've been in other games. But I do think that there's going to be, I think there's like a clear path. Like today was all, this trailer that we saw was all about traversal. first trailer was just like a teaser trailer. Then they're gonna have a story. I'm actually excited for the story trailer the most, but just because honestly, what is the story so far? Link fights Ganondorf, and then rifts show up, and now Zelda is doing things.
I don't know if I should say this. I just I kind of have an idea of how I think the game goes.
Sure,
So,
I have an idea, and I haven't decided if I want to make a video on it yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's rifts. I think it's a rift in the beginning. Zelda gets back to the castle, then rifts appear. Basically, the upheaval equivalent doesn't happen until Zelda gets back to the castle.
Yeah, because we see,
and then it's after that she's put in jail.
And then the rift comes, and the king goes down the rift.
Yeah, which they didn't put in the trailer.
No, they didn't, but they put it on. They put it on the website.
Yeah.
For those who haven't seen it, it was in my video, one of my videos I did. But King of Hyrule's in the game, and Zelda is seen like talking to him and two other people, and then a rift comes and sucks down the king. The two other people run in to try to save the king. But what's really cool is that actually the king pushes Zelda away so she doesn't get stuck in the rift.
Yeah.
So that was kind of an interesting thing. And we don't really know, what triggers the rifts or if that's when the rifts are triggered to expand beyond where it initially happened. No idea. It's all fascinating though. And that's the thing. I don't know how deep the story is going to be in this. Some of the top-down stories are a little deeper than others, but I do think they're going to set up because I think the premise is there. But now it'll give us a little background to make us actually be excited about the story. Because right now, I would say about the least exciting thing right now, we've been talking about this game ever since it was announced, a month ago, and not a single conversation has been about anything to do with story.
I got a question for you
they
guys.
don't give us any details really. It's all guessing, piecing it together. Yeah, what's up?
Do you think that these rifts? Like, if you look at the rifts and you look at the map, and of course, the first thing we noticed is that
let's throw the king there.
It looks similar to Link to the Past, right? Do you think this connects at all with Link Between Worlds? Do you think those rifts are like Lorule? Because the Link Between Worlds map, obviously Link Between Worlds and Link to the Past are within the same universe, and if this has the Link to the Past kind of map, those rifts remind me of Lorule in Link Between Worlds. So I'm wondering if these are connected.
I personally am not expecting to see Lorule. I feel like it's kind of like that
would be sick.
A lot of people are kind of like looking forward to seeing something like that. I will say this though. They kind of didn't tell us about the depths so hard leading up to Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know if you guys remember, we kind of knew there were the depths because there was a couple screens that they showed, and the initial trailers were clearly hinting at it.
There was something. We knew there was something underground.
Right, but they were not showing it off at all so hard, if that makes any sense, that people were starting to think that there wasn't anything there. And then when the game comes out, they're like, oh, actually, yeah, there's a depths. And by the way, it's basically another third to the entire game. So I bring that up because I feel like something like Lorule, because I remember playing A Link to the Past, right? And when you get to that point in the game, it's like a holy smokes moment. Wait, what? There's a whole other map?
Whole other map? What?
Right? That's kind of crazy, And so if there is something like that, I kind of feel like they're just not going to tell us until the game comes out. But I also want to say that I don't think this is a big budget, huge game. I feel like expecting this to be, like a 50-hour campaign is probably not a realistic expectation. But we'll see.
But bigger than Link's Awakening HD?
Oh, bigger than Link's Awakening. You can beat that like in 5 or 6 hours, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Big
definitely
enough.
bigger than that. I think it's at least a 12-hour game.
Big enough that if there's a month for Nintendo Switch to be number 1 on the Circana charts, formerly NPDs, it's September.
What
You-
what
you
else is coming out in September for like other big games for other systems?
I mean, Sony's got Astrobot as I think the only exclusive
Mm-hmm.
game coming out between
Oh, right, that's
September and November. Nintendo Switch has like 3 in a row of Echoes of Wisdom, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Mario and Luigi Brothership. September, October, November. I think in that order, And you've got the Zelda edition NS Lite. So if there's a month that Nintendo Switch is going to be number 1, I think September has a good chance, especially if Sony announces in September PS5 Pro coming this November. We're going to see a drop in sales, just like there was a little bit of a drop in sales in Nintendo Switch right before OLED model came out in October. Right between that July and October, a little dip. There's going to be a little dip for PS5s because some people will hold out. I'm just unrelated necessarily to.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a prediction. Well, I mean, look, September. I was gonna say, like, man, like I don't even know, because obviously we have no. Astrobot's a new franchise, so we don't really know what the sales potential of that game is, and if people would actually buy a PS5 to play it. But we do know, obviously, is that Zelda will sell pretty decently well. Maybe extremely well. We don't really know what this is.
I had a thought on that.
But there's a Zelda Switch Lite is what I was trying to get to. That is actually what might push the sales for Switch to top.
Except it's a Switch Lite, not an OLED, but whatever.
Well, it would. I know. But hey, we already got a Zelda OLED.
Actually, I'm getting double brain blast here, but the Switch Lite thing, to your point, might be more reasonable than an OLED to push in that stage. Because actually, I do find it curious that they're pushing a Switch Lite and not an OLED with this, and I think I just realized why it makes more sense. Because if they're going to announce the Switch 2, with more detail, be it later this month or next month, right?
64% chance.
6 apparently, right? Then
Fine.
the OLED is going to seem a lot less like valuable once they show off the Switch 2. It's going to have an 8-inch screen, and it's obviously going to have better graphics. It's going to be a next-gen hardware. But the Switch Lite, on the other hand, that's still going to be like here's the very cheap, portable Nintendo system still. Like the Switch 2 is not going to take away from that, but it is going to take away from the OLED. So pushing a Switch Lite in September actually makes more sense from that perspective.
Also, big price difference between whatever Switch 2 is going to be in. And
yeah,
good point.
But the one thing that kind of that kind of bothers me about this though is that pre-orders are already up for that Switch Lite. So maybe you guys know more about this stuff, but is it too late for that Switch Lite to be a part of the price cut campaign?
I don't think it's gonna. So I think it won't be part of the. I think there will be a price cut this holiday. I don't think that will be included because it's a special edition.
And that's one of my reasons why I don't think Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be shown off in September, even though it would be cool, because I think when it is, that's the earliest in which we get price cuts. And they already have the price released of, I think, $210. I think the NS Lite Zelda edition is a little bit more. So
I do want to note there's not a
more expensive.
There's
not
not
a 210 instead of 200, isn't it?
It's $209, and it comes with the
a year
Nintendo Switch NSO 1-year membership
expansion pack, right?
I want to toss out there that there's also no guarantee
or is it the base?
Like Zelda edition has more than 1 or 2 actual manufacturing runs. Like the Switch Lite's their least selling system, and I don't think it's going to be as popular as the Tears of the Kingdom edition OLED. They might not even have it in stock for holidays. It might not even be for sale.
Yeah, expansion pack it comes with.
Yeah, that's $50.
So, Paul, you mentioned the timing of price drops earlier. So you're saying that they normally happen in September, or did I mishear you?
Oh, I was saying I don't. What was I saying? I don't think they'll show off that Nintendo Switch 2 trailer in September because that would be before this Nintendo Switch Lite Zelda edition. And I kind of think that once they do show off the trailer for Nintendo Switch 2, at that point, they price drop the base systems.
That's been my prediction on this podcast. I agree.
On October 20th, they're like, now Nintendo Switch Lite is available for $170, base Nintendo Switch for $250, and OLED models for $300. That way the $170 doesn't bum out on the NS Lite Zelda people too much because they're like, I paid $40 more, but you got a limited edition cool gold model. And then, anybody who didn't, it's only $30 less than your $200 NS Lite that you bought in August. So it isn't too bad. But for new people, $30 is a decent, price off, right? That's a 15% discount. So not bad if you were holding out, Not too bad that it gives you buyer's remorse that you didn't wait, but not too wonderful either.
I also think this holiday is going to be bundle city.
A lot of bundles. If there are no price drops, Nintendo just has attractive bundles, and that's the effective price drop,
Yeah, they could be like, hey, we're still selling OLED at $350, but our holiday thing is we're packing 2 games in with it.
Expansion pack's $50. Wow.
I guess. So I can see them not price dropping until early next year, but my issue with that is I can't see them selling well if they don't.
I think there's a lot that can go into obviously still selling well for the holidays. A price drop I think is just like the most obvious way to do it. And now they do have games that are going to sell, like Jamboree is going to sell really well. Like I'm not even worried that's going to be a 10 million plus sell. I don't know if it's going to sell all this holiday.
Yeah, I think it's still great.
I don't know that it's a system moving game. I think it's just something that people buy when you already have a Switch. But I do think that we saw it last holiday. Nintendo put more bundles out there than they had done in any other holiday. And I think the key thing this year is going to be, hey, we're going to discount games more than we've ever discounted. And we're going to potentially, like in the US specifically, I could see them no matter what doing a price drop of Switch on Black Friday. They've never done it this entire generation. They've never done a Black Friday sale on Switch. This is the holiday to do it. So it's not technically we're dropping the price of the whole system, but Black Friday, yes. And it might
November feels believable to me.
Yeah, and like one of those where they drop the price for Black Friday and then they just whoopsie, we forgot to raise it back up because it's actually a permanent price drop and we just didn't announce it.
I could see that. How low do you guys think Switch Lite's gonna go? And the reason I asked is because I've mentioned this before in previous weeks that the Switch Lite was already selling for a lower price for a while. I just pulled it up. Right now, you can get it on Walmart, shipped and sold by Walmart for $159. And it's the Animal Crossing edition. It comes with Animal Crossing.
That's a good deal.
$159. It's been like this for probably at least 2 months.
Yeah.
So $50 more is the special edition Zelda that comes with the expansion pack that costs what? $50. Okay. So that makes sense there. Do you think they go 99 on this? If they're already selling it for 160.
But only at Walmart.
And they have that.
Only at Walmart. And Walmart could be clearing stock.
Eventually
for them.
Whether it's
eventually, sure, yeah.
Whether it's the Nintendo Switch Lite that eventually hits $100, or Nintendo makes a cheapy model, Nintendo Switch Micro, for $100 that has fewer components, a smaller screen. It's the form factor or size of Nintendo 3DS XL, maybe even has a clamshell so that it just protects the screen and is more of a durable stick it in your pocket kind of thing. And maybe it's digital only, or maybe not, but it's just a little bit of a cheaper feeling product, but it makes people that are collectors want it, and people that are like, dude, I would buy a $100 thing for my kid. No big deal.
How insane this one!
Switch Pocket, bro.
No, this the Switch Lite deal that comes with Animal Crossing is insane because the exact same thing is $100 more every other retailer. Walmart is literally slashing it by $100. What that bundle's supposed to go for?
Well, think about it too.
But
Animal Crossing $60.
But if you actually look at Walmart, they're slashing everything. All Switch Lites, they're going to Switch Lite more expensive than $173, brand new. Like, so Walmart's already slashed the prices of Switch Lite, just period.
We'll see how long that lasts.
They have Switch Lite. Well, those are refurbished ones, so we're not worried about.
I remember when all their Switch games were always $10 cheaper.
Yeah,
I would always buy my Switch games at Walmart.
That is insane. Walmart, like, God.
Last I checked, not anymore.
Did they discount any other Switch model?
I do think that when it comes to the bundles, I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm sure you guys will agree that any of the new bundles come with NSO because that gets you into the system for Switch 2.
Is Walmart jumping the gun because they've been told price cuts are coming? Switch
I think so. I truly do.
OLED's down $50.
Yeah, I've been watching this because Wario64 posted all the time, and I've been keeping tabs. I'm like, something's up, man. And
well, we got to know. Wasn't Nintendo and Walmart recently not getting along?
Yeah. Well,
so it also could be like, they could be like, fuck you, Nintendo. I don't know why. They're just costing themselves money, but
yeah,
because they already bought.
They paid X amount for these.
Yeah,
exactly.
It did. This is insane. Well, now that I see OLED's been, the Tears of the Kingdom edition down to $290. Like, what is happening? Well, these are not small discounts. These are the kind of discounts we thought Nintendo might do this holiday. They're just already here on Walmart.
You heard it here first. Tomorrow, Nintendo's.
Well, dude, I have another video idea this week, I guess.
If you remove the price of Animal Crossing, which is $60, that's a $99 Switch.
Yeah. Well,
if all retailers started doing that, that would be very big.
Yeah, I wonder if Walmart is just saying screw it, we're jumping the gun so people come to us first because this is going to be the new price.
You got to tag Walmart Canada and ask them.
Yeah, they're active. They'll answer.
They might legit just give you an answer that's real, but it sounds like a troll, but it's actually
way.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, I think Switch Lite could eventually get to $99. I don't think whatever the official price cut will be when that does happen, be it this year or next year. I think it's going to be $149.99.
I think there'll be a holiday price cut that's like $150, $170 maybe like Walmart has, but then it will go to $99, and I think that happens shortly after Switch 2 launches. That'll be when they're like, all right, it's time for the heavy.
So you think it'll happen? So you think it'll happen in March?
Yeah, potentially in March if it comes out in March. Yeah, they'll do their Black Friday holiday discount. It's down $30-$50. All the systems are, and then it actually is just going to get lower when Switch 2 comes out because they want that price gap to be large. I think
you got to get OLED down to at least $299 at least.
I even think $250.
Do they discontinue it?
I agree, but yeah.
Do they discontinue OLED and only keep the?
I think they discontinue the regular
base Switch. Yeah.
I mean, they could discontinue OLED, but it's like their best-selling model. I just don't.
Yeah, no, you don't do that.
Discontinue that.
Yeah, but then you have everyone saying, "Well, the Switch 1 has an OLED, Switch 2 doesn't."
The better screen thing is like one of those.
Exactly, like it would if they just use the base model.
Nintendo, if you're worried about the better screen thing and you're dropping OLED, then I'll tell you right now, when Switch 2 comes out and you're dropping OLED, you better drop Switch Lite to $99 and base Switch to $200.
Do you think they're going to have 4 models simultaneously? 400 NS2, 300 OLED, 250 base, 150 NS Lite, or are they going to make OLED and normal into one?
Once Switch 2 is out, a model's going away.
It's crazy though, because normally, I mean, despite like PS4 Pro being more powerful, PS4 Pro wasn't outselling on a regular basis PS4, and by the end, it certainly didn't either. Yeah. Xbox One X being the more powerful, it didn't sell more on a regular basis, and it did not do it more in the end either. Nintendo Switch OLED model cost more. It was a price increase and sold more regularly, and to this day is actually the #1 overall best-selling model, if I'm not mistaken. I think it passed Nintendo Switch in total sales. I have to double check on that because I could be wrong on that.
Sure,
but that's their number one. So I could see if anything is going to go out, maybe it's the base, and maybe $100 is enough to distinguish between NS2 and OLED, which is now $300. That could be.
Sure. All right. Well, I think for the sake of brevity, we'll head on over to the Q&A section. We technically started about 20 minutes late, so we're actually not that much over our goal time. But let's get to this stuff because we did get a bunch of questions in. Remember, you guys can still submit your questions until we're done with them. You just super chat them in. This wasn't a question. I just want to make sure I shout out every super chat we get. We had a $1 odd come in from Jimzo. Thank you so much, man. Then we had Jorge FT come in with a $10 super chat saying, which third-party dev from indies to big devs do you think contributed a lot for the Switch? And which dev are you looking forward to providing support on Switch 2? I'll answer just first right away. I'm just going to say Bethesda. Bethesda really helped the reputation of Switch in those early years. The impossible Doom port, the impossible Wolfenstein. And they weren't just there to be there. They actually played well. So, yeah. And then, obviously, for looking forward, which dev would I look forward to providing support for Switch 2? From Software.
Give us that Zelda 2 Dark Souls style reimagining.
Dude, I want them to team up so bad. Oh,
go. Let's go. Or if not, do something based on Kid Icarus. From Software, like they could do it. Yo, they could even do Star Fox. Look at what they did with Armored Core.
From Software and Nintendo just feels like magic to me. So let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, what's crazy though is that once they do partner up, I bet From Software like, yo, this did extremely well. We got to do it again. You know?
Yes. They're not gonna. It's not gonna be.
It ain't gonna be a Bloodborne
situation. Be a Bloodborne one off. No. It's gonna do so damn well. They're gonna be like, well, shit.
Yeah, especially if it's a Zelda 2 reimagining, bro. They would.
They crush.
It might even become the best selling.
They probably rename the whole damn thing so people don't even think. Like, we don't even realize. So you start to be like, wait a second, that's Error. What the fuck is Error doing in this new Zelda game you're showing up? And it turns out it's a fucking reimagining of Zelda 2, and we didn't even know for like half the time.
That game would sell 10 million easy.
Yeah.
Anyway, it might even hit 20. That's how much potential I think there is there. But it'll be their new Elden Ring. Yeah.
So what Andres, what indie dev what third party dev do you think contributed a lot to Switch?
There's a lot, but my favorite third party dev is Capcom.
Yeah.
So
sure. There you go.
Yeah, and I feel like Capcom will do even better this time around. You know, I'm really pulling for Monster Hunter Wilds to be available very early on for Switch 2. I also think that there's a lot of Resident Evil games that deserve to be on the console, and natively. And so basically, me as a big Resident Evil Monster Hunter fan, I think having those two franchises day and date releases throughout the gen are going to be huge. Also, Monster is pretty big on Nintendo.
Yes, it is. It's already popular. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Portable Wilds is going to be bonkers.
It's going to be wild.
Eric, you got something to answer for this question?
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite games on Switch came from Ubisoft. So
there it is, Ubisoft, baby.
Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle and Sparks of Hope. So, I'm just hoping that we get a third edition of it. And
plus, if Ubisoft's going all in on this whole third party thing, I'm just saying that we could end up getting Assassin's Creed now, future Assassin's Creeds and Switch 2. Maybe we get a port of the new Star Wars Outlaws game. I'm just saying that could be really big support for Nintendo.
You know what I want? I want Nintendo and Ubisoft to partner together, incorporate maybe Nintendo EPG Group 2, and they actually work together on a proper Star Fox game. You take the Steam that made Starlink, but you inject the Nintendo magic, the Nintendo polish. That game would be really good because the Ubisoft can make big, beautiful worlds with some cool mechanics, but they kind of lack the variety. It kind of feels a little repetitive. The Nintendo magic, I think, can rectify that issue.
I love how every dev coming up, he's just so Star Fox. Someone really wants Star Fox coming back.
But Ubisoft literally made Starlink. Come on, that's not.
So by the way, I don't know if you guys played Starlink. Starlink's really actually really good. It's really good. Maybe
really
they should have not gone the Toys to Life, but it's totally optional anyways. But it's really good.
For 60 seconds, you can pretend you're playing a real Star Fox game too.
Yeah. It's actually really good. It's better than Star Fox Zero. Paul Gale, you got any company you want to mention?
Yeah, on the third-party side, well, I'll go with indie first. It's hard to beat Way Forward in terms of how much support they've had for Nintendo Switch, and like right alongside Way Forward, Tribute Games, another one that has been there. So when you look at those two on the indie scene, they've had a lot of success with Nintendo, and that's going to continue throughout the rest of the Nintendo Switch life and beyond. And on the third party part, I agree with everything that was said from all of you, and like in particular, Capcom. Capcom has shown up. They didn't bring everything over. Could they have? Maybe. Could they have not with certain titles? Possibly. But going forward, that seems likely. I am interested though for some of the games that had a Nintendo Switch version, but the developer actually made a version from the ground up, specifically WB's titles, Hogwarts Legacy and Mortal Kombat 1. Do they get just souped up versions where, okay, it's the base game, but just now it just runs as good as it can, looks as good as it can, etc., polished out with DLSS or just whatever free upgrade? Or is it like, okay, you could pay $10 and it unlocks the equivalent of that PS5 Xbox Series version? Because that's a lot. That's a whole different game. That's an entire different game. It's not like, oh yeah, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, it just looks a little bit better on PS4 and Xbox One than Nintendo Switch. No, the build of Hogwarts Legacy, it's a different game. It's fine on Nintendo Switch. It looks good and plays well, but it is different code despite everything else. You know what I mean? So I'm curious of those. But yeah, I'd say like Way Forward, Tribute Games, Capcom, easy to go. Ubisoft, Sega, another one. Super Giant Games. They don't release too often, but Hades was a real banger last gen. Well, this gen still for Nintendo.
Bandai Namco is actually huge for Nintendo. They develop Nintendo games. New Pokemon Snap, Smash Brothers. Like,
have a very good relationship.
Yeah, but even they make a lot of their own games that are really good. Like, I'm looking forward to Sparking Zero, for example. They typically publish from software games. Like, they're
look at who Nintendo has. Look at who they trust. Tecmo Koei, they've given them Zelda. Capcom, they've given them Zelda and Zelda characters in Monster Hunter. Well, costumes, you know what I mean? Bandai Namco, they have the trust of Pokemon. That's with Pokemon Company, but still, you know, Sega, they gave Sega Link costume in Sonic. Look at that old Triforce arcade board and the partnership back in like 2002 to create that. There's certain companies that have been around for a long time. I do think Square Enix is going to be a bigger play, because I think that that's a company that, oh man, if they should have probably built some Final Fantasy game from the ground up for Nintendo Switch as the primary platform and then ported it and upgraded it. The Monster Hunter strategy, Rise. You would have seen like better results with 7 and 16 and stuff probably.
I just realized there's another company we probably should have mentioned, and Nate almost mentioned them because you mentioned Bethesda, but Bethesda is now under Microsoft. Microsoft provides some pretty big games on Switch, but for Switch 2, I mean, all the Bethesda games, right? But then there's going to be Call of Duty. You know, we're kind of thinking that we're going to see maybe even not Fable, but Perfect
Doom?
Dark potentially could be ported over. Well, yeah, Doom from Bethesda for sure.
Expect Doom.
You know, there's the speculation, rumors of something Banjo-Kazooie in the works. Although I think it was shot down recently, or maybe it was canceled.
Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, new Elder Scrolls. Like, there's, I don't know, Microsoft, because they have so many big developers now under their kind of roof, they might be probably the best partner you know, especially because they don't seem to care about their
Now,
own
now
console
partner
anymore.
up and let's get a new banjo, baby. Let's go.
If Nintendo and Microsoft actually
Man,
collab together for a
Nintendo's where
Banjo-Kazooie
banjo would
game,
sell, baby. Let's do it.
All
would-
it is
yeah.
Microsoft fund it, Nintendo develop it, release it on both systems simultaneously,
Let's go.
and split the profits overall 50-50 after that. Boom.
I am so
Easy.
cool with that. Done.
Easy.
Easy money. Easy
Just
money.
do it.
Easy money. All right, Thunderstash.
Call this Shark Tank. This is Nintendo Prime Shark Tank.
Shark Tank. We
There you
should
go,
do
Nintendo,
like a
Microsoft.
Shark Tank episode. We should have like people come in and pitch us like ideas,
Do it.
and we get into fake bidding wars over those ideas. Anyways, that might be a fun idea for a future episode. Thunderstash.
Okay. My indie dev that contributed a lot for the Switch. I mean, they did so much. Devolver Digital.
Yeah.
My God. They've released over 40 games for
That's
Switch.
huge.
a lot.
I
It
mean,
might be.
Some of us can't even
Yeah,
count
at
that
least
high.
you didn't say Team Cherry. If you
and
said
mostly
Team
just
Cherry, that
really-
would have hurt some people.
they were really good, honestly. The developers you mentioned too, Paul, have been great. I love Way Forward and Tribute Games. I thought about them as well, and then I dawned on me Devolver, and I had to go look again. I'm like, my God, they've released so many games. Just looking at this list, but for the big third party devs, it's kind of a little bit of what you guys said. Capcom, of course. Square Enix, I'm expecting really big things from Square on Switch too. And I'd say probably like a shout out to CD Projekt Red with The Witcher. I think that was a really big deal from a technical aspect, from a respect aspect, when that was able to be ported over to the Switch. That made a lot of people, I think, that maybe looked at Switch like it was a very, like a weak console. We're like, wow, they got The Witcher running on that. And it made people kind of take a second look at Switch that maybe weren't interested in it. I thought that was pretty good. And I do expect Cyberpunk. I don't see why not a complete version that would come to Switch too. And Andres, I think you make a good point as well with Microsoft. No doubt.
Heck yeah.
Microsoft.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's get to our next one here. We got Boo Mini says, question for all: what Nintendo game and or consoles are you planning to buy between now and December of 2024? Yeah, I'll just get out of the way quick. Look, I'm getting Echoes of Wisdom. I'll probably end up picking up Jamboree online. Come on, we can play it on live stream with people, and like they're trying to act like it's like the greatest Mario Party game ever. I don't know if that's the case.
It is the biggest.
I know they said biggest, but then it's factually
Literally.
not the biggest because there's ones with more maps but that's besides the point.
Is there?
Yeah, oh yeah. That being said, big can be a relative term. It's got online as an example, and more mini games. So, anyways, but I am going to sit there and say those two games I'll be picking up. I'll probably end up getting Brothership as well. It's just going to depend if I'm done with some of the other games I'm going to be playing along the way, like Astro Bot and stuff like that. So, but I'm going to pick up Brothership eventually. It's just, I got to make sure that I'm good with everything else I was playing at the time. And I want to see reviews for it as well, because again, this is not made by the old team, but then it might be made by the old team. So there's a lot of
So at least some members.
Yeah, some of the members at least. Yeah. As for consoles, I mean, I don't think I'm picking up anything. Even if PS5 Pro comes out, they haven't even proven why we needed a PS5 yet. So I'm not really why do we need a PS5 Pro?
The question is about Nintendo, so
I don't know. Well, but it says and or consoles.
Yeah, but Nintendo.
I'm not getting the Switch Lite.
Yeah.
I'm not getting the Switch Lite Zelda edition. Sorry, I want it, but I can't justify it to sit on my shelf because it'll never get opened. It'll just sit there. I mean, maybe you could argue for collector's purposes, it could increase in value in 10 years. Probably a fully sealed, never opened one. It's $200. I just don't need to spend. So I'm good. That's me.
I tell you what, I got pre-ordered. If you guys like to know, I got Zelda, of course. I have the Zelda Switch Lite, and it is to set on my shelf for 10 years.
Yeah, I just gotta get this in. I am buying Final Countdown Club. I've already
good. That's my next game on my list. I have EMEO pre-ordered. I got Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection for Switch pre-ordered. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Marvel vs. Capcom. I have the arcade one up. Love it. I got Mario and Luigi, of course, Brothership. Love Mario and Luigi. I've played them all. So I'm super excited for Brothership. And I do love the title. I love the name of that. And I have Balatro Special Edition. I haven't played it. I have the physical pre-ordered at Best Buy. So looking forward to picking that up. And yeah, I think that's it for Switch. There's probably going to be some digital games I end up picking up once we get some hard release dates. Hopefully we'll maybe get some more news in September if there is a Switch Direct.
Yeah. All right. Eric, anything you're getting?
I mean, right now the only thing that I have pre-ordered is Echoes.
Okay.
I am definitely leaning towards picking up Brothership as well. But that's probably
that's good
for right now. I mean, unless the freaking Plucky Squire gets a goddamn release date. God damn it.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's supposed to come out this year. Still no release date.
Still no release date. It was supposed to come out last year.
Yeah, I know. Feeling it's going next year.
Yeah,
at this
it's
point.
starting to get me burf.
Let's see here. Let's go with Paul Gale.
I'm debating on Epic Mickey Rebrushed because I played the original back in the day. I didn't buy it, but I played it.
I got a media copy.
So I'm like, I might buy it now because I did like it then and I didn't play all of it. So that's a maybe. But I'm definitely getting Marvel versus Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Mario and Luigi Brothership. And I don't think I cannot get, I don't know if I'll have time to play it, but the Dragon Quest 3 2D HD.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that's another one. I don't know how many that is, like 4 or 5. And then I can't say, and this seems like, dude, why are you even saying this? But I mean, later on when you say, what do you got going on and stuff like that, I will say, you know, I recently filmed Indie Mania with, you know, fellow friend of the channel and Mike Odyssey. So, you know, so there are some games that I can't talk about, but that I will be getting. So that's just a small tease, you know?
So there's some good pickups, indie pickups coming this year.
Yeah, like
that reminded me. Your shirt reminded me, like, I kind of want to buy an Indie Mania shirt. I was like,
I got my shirt hanging in the closet.
I haven't got it yet because I'm one of the co-streamers. So like, I'm like, I gotta get the shirt.
Show's gonna be good. Game's gonna be good. You know, between 2024 and beyond, looking, you know, good. So, yeah,
I'm excited.
Right. Andres, did you go yet?
No. I'm getting what everyone expects that I'm getting. Echoes of Wisdom, Mario Party Jamboree, and Brothership. I'm on the fence with Amio Famicom Detective Club. It kind of depends on previews. Yeah.
Reviews. Yeah, that's the thing.
I already know how it ends, though.
I plan to get it, but it's like if the reviews come out and it says it just bombs, I'm like, whoa, fuck.
Yeah.
if it's like scoring in the 40s, I'm gonna be like, well, all right then. I will check out one review that does it and just see if they understood what they were playing or they thought it was something else. They should know it's an ongoing franchise now at this point. They should know, but yeah, I doubt it. I doubt it's gonna bomb. But with the guy who makes it, like none of the other ones were like in terms of ratings bombed. They rated pretty decent, so I think it'll be fine. Let's go ahead and get to our next one here. We got like 4 left here. We got Jawbreaker says, do you know if backwards compatibility is in Switch 2?
No one knows.
Paul, do you know?
No.
Damn.
I think so, but I don't know.
I was like, maybe you heard a whisper that people are like, hey, we made this game on Switch and it's coming out.
If it's not,
Although
it's not a deal breaker because TVs have multiple HDMI ports, and I'll just stick the Switch 2 next to the Switch. No big deal.
There you
But
go.
I hope it does. It does make it more convenient.
Anyway, so like in terms of nobody knows. I mean, there might be someone who does. I don't think anyone on this show definitively knows anything.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you that I think it is extremely likely.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very strong feeling on this one.
Same.
I'm willing to bet a sizable amount of money,
But
that
not
it is.
Right?
Well, I mean, if you want to gamble on this, I will. But
Yeah,
then
I'd bet a
also-
hundo.
Yeah, I feel
For
more
sure.
impassioned
We're
about this
putting on
one.
cash bets on this one. Well, fuck.
Yeah, but you also just
And
said
how much? Like I said, how much?
why would you bet against this though? Like, why would you?
To make money? Hedge my bets.
No, you're not gonna win. You're gonna lose money.
But what if there's no backwards compatibility?
Then you make a shit ton of money.
That's
You
what
want, you want to bet?
he's like, dude, I'm ready to fucking go right now. He's got the cash on.
I
down.
got
Ready to roll.
Oh yeah, I can.
You know, if
Look, I got singles right here.
he's ready for the strip club. No,
Target gift card?
I've
gift card?
Can't get anything.
got a
cheeseburger at
we got a
McDonald's.
Nintendo
Not even
Prime
that.
exclusive edition, no longer exists business card, and a well-used bottle opener for your keychain.
Oh, I'll give you one. I'll put this on the line. The Pepsi Gotta Have It card.
Oh,
It gets you these special discounts at Blockbuster,
yeah.
Wiener Schnitzel, Foot Locker, Reebok, and it gets you MCI long distance minutes at a lower price.
Nice.
You gotta have it.
Gotta have it. But no, I'm not gonna make a bet on this because like if I'm gonna bet, especially if I'm gonna go with cash bets, I gotta make sure it's something that I actually think I could win. This is like something that I know I'm not going to win, or shouldn't say I know. I'm very confident I would lose. I gotta believe it's gotta be something I actually. And the funny thing is, me and Andres Restart on the old podcast, the Nintendo Prime podcast, we disagreed legitimately on a lot of shit, and then suddenly the Nintenbyte podcast happens, and we kind of just agree on everything.
We do?
Well, I mean, so far, nothing controversial has happened. You know why though? It's because Nintendo hasn't had a bunch of big games come out since the Nintenbyte podcast started, so there's been nothing to really disagree on. Like the biggest one was what, maybe Metroid Prime 4, and even then we don't really have anything going for it yet until we know when it's coming out.
That is a W that I did take. I told you that it was a 2025 game, and everyone's like, "Oh no, it's a holiday game just for Switch 1." Nah, bro, it's coming to Switch 2.
That's true. That's true. There's no bet on that.
Well, it's not confirmed it's coming to Switch 2 yet, but it is coming 2025.
Next one here, we got $5. Andres Restart name the world's the TV. That's why he changed his username earlier. Because Andres, the way he was talking was making the whole chat get happy and high.
I don't know what was going on.
The chat was getting happy and high.
I think I was just confused for a little while.
It happened. Jawbreaker does $5. Says, I think Kingdom Hearts will be on Switch too. Some games will get performance and graphics boost too. Most likely, you are correct.
I concur.
Yeah. I think there's too much disagreement on that one. And then the last one we have right now, I'll double check the chat, but I think this is it based on what I see on my screen. We might have. Oh no, we have one more. We have one more. Question for Paul specifically: is backwards compatibility included in Switch? Just Paul. Nobody else allowed to answer this because we already answered.
Yeah,
I think so.
okay.
All right, that was said with great confidence. There's one more. Technically, I don't know if I remembered to start it, so I might just have to read it off from the back end of YouTube because that's just what happens when I'm not paying attention to the chat while I'm trying to throw. Oh no, we got it. Kitsune84 says, in gameplay clip, you can see some of Echo's cost too. Yeah. I know we brought this up earlier, But the reason I wanted to bring it back up is I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. You guys know I'm nothing if not honest. I honestly did not notice that this entire time. I think I just subconsciously assumed, but I never realized I actually saw it on screen.
Yeah, I too.
You didn't watch my trailer analysis.
I read this and brought it up earlier. I felt like the biggest idiot. Just being honest. Like, how do I not notice this? I'm just the biggest idiot. You know what, though? I'm an idiot today because I said, oh, there's cats. Might be a mouse, but it's a cat. I don't do research because I wasn't being definitive on it being a cat, apparently, in the game. I got it. Cool. By the way, guys, it's no secret. I don't like cats. I'd rather it be a mouse. But yeah. Oh, sorry. We got one more here. Late super chat. This is actually
Eric, was that on purpose?
I like this.
You don't even know what you did you?
No.
So
nice.
You were just sitting like this, like all chill.
He's streaming
fire
from the Mac, guys. That's what it means. He's got the Mac.
About that.
You get all the fancy
I
Mac
forgot
effects.
about that part of it.
Yeah, all those Mac effects work. You can just make it rain up in here. You can do lots of things. Boo Mini had a late super chat for $2. Says, do any of you collect Zelda/manga books? I do not. I have Hyrule Historia.
I have a couple Zelda books.
I got Masterworks laying around somewhere, but that's about it. I don't have anything else.
Yeah.
You know what? I picked up the Zelda manga. Have you seen that? That's on actually Wario posts about it all the time on Twitter.
Yeah, he posted up a lot.
Twilight Princess one?
But
Twilight Princess one where Link and Midna make out.
I don't know. It's the one that's like 7 or 8 books, and I have never read manga. In fact, I opened it up and I'm like, did they print this backwards? Yeah, like that's how much of a noob I am. I don't mind saying that. So I went online. And I'm like, wait a minute, this can't be, because they're all like this. So I Google it, and sure enough, it says it's backwards. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's interesting. I had no idea, but yeah, I bought that just because, well, one, it was on sale for a great deal, and I was like, I can't get enough of Zelda. I'm just gonna buy this. I'm gonna read it one of these days, and I'm probably gonna enjoy it. I appreciate all the lore I can get.
Nice. All right. Does anyone else collect anything? Or is it just Thunderstash slowly getting into it?
I used to collect more stuff when I was younger, but not anymore.
I get those Zelda books too. I mean, not the mangas, although I did see.
I would like a complete manga collection for Zelda one day. I would, but
there's that 5 manga series of Zelda books that comes in this little treasure chest. And that's pretty cool. And it's different games, and like each book is a game, and I think it's 5 different games if I'm not mistaken. So that's pretty dope. But in general, I'm a big fan of Udon Comics. They have had a great partnership with Capcom over the years, and since I'm a huge Street Fighter guy, like any other Street Fighter comics, Darkstalkers, Final Fight, like I buy all of that stuff. So that's a comic, not a manga, but still, yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it then for the Nintenbyte Podcast. Go to the room quick. You can tell people where you are. We'll drop some links in the chat and have a good time. Andres Rista, you got anything going on? Where the hell can they find you?
I am located in Miami, Florida. My current zip code is 33. I'm not telling you.
He is currently single, ladies, I think. Maybe not. Maybe I spoke too soon.
I'm single.
All right. I had to make sure.
But are you ready to mingle?
I actually haven't talked to you about any sort of that stuff for a while. I'm like, why are you single?
I mean, I probably would tell you.
That's why I figured, if I don't know, then you're probably single. That's what I kind of figured.
Yeah, I would probably tell you. I'd probably be pretty happy about it. Or be a guys, I'm not sure what's going on, but I think I like somebody. Yeah.
The fact I didn't know was like he's single. Anyways.
Yeah, I have been single for a good while. So if I was getting into a relationship,
I would have heard
my brain would be very like, I don't know how to do this. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So basically, how he was acting on this show for like a good half hour. That might be like just what he's like when you're dating. Okay, ladies.
I don't know. That's probably why I'm single then.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, jokes aside, just Nintendo videos every day.
Yeah.
So
Better ones than I make. Go check it out.
What's your
This time
opinion?
next year, I want his channel to be bigger than mine.
That would be crazy. That would.
And I don't want it to be
have.
because
That would be.
by the way, I don't want it to be because all you guys unsubscribed and my channel shrunk. That's not.
Oh,
That's not what we're trying to do.
no.
Mass exodus.
Tanks.
Everyone unfollow, unlike.
I would have to have several million videos. Like several videos get over 1 million views to even approach
I
you.
got one, and it was a meme, and it's from like 15 years ago. Anyways,
I should just start making meme videos.
and it's a 30-second thing. It made no money. I was like, man, you must have made a lot of money on that "My Body Is Ready" thing. I'm like, dude, it's literally like 45 cents since it was published. It makes no money. Paul Gale, what you got going on? Where can they find you?
Over on X/Twitter, I'm frequently putting up video game sales. Tomorrow morning, you can expect some Famitsu chart sales from Japan, the top software and hardware. The biggest thing I have going on, the thing that I've been plugging with my name the whole night is, and actually I teased it first, I think on one of Nintendo Prime, one of Nate's streams, like last October, when I told you that other Zelda news, remember? Which ended up being the Lego Deco Tree being, oh no, this is legit. This is official. The world's first Legend of Zelda themed pool. So if you're interested, head over to my YouTube channel. It's just at Paul Gale Network, and you'll see I created what I believe is at least the world's first pool. I completely redid it. I chose specific colors for the coping, for the Temple of Time, for the tile, 8-bit pixel look. I made a custom Link and Triforce. It's pretty dope. So I'd appreciate a view or a like.
That's
and
crazy.
On the other side of X and video game news and stuff like that, and YouTube, my video, as I mentioned earlier, and as Nate is showing you right now, Mike Odyssey and I are hosting an event called Indie Mania that runs September 12th, 13th, and 14th, and it's going to have a good amount of games from a good amount of developers and some prizes and more stuff that you'll just find out soon. But news will start to, make their way of just what else is there. And I believe everyone here has already signed up. Nintendo Prime, Thunderstash Gaming. I know Mike was grilling you, Andres Restart, because he said, "Wait a minute, you haven't yet." I don't know, so I don't know if you have, but
I think I was doing it the other day and I forgot.
You're welcome to, of course.
Everyone here, wait a second, maybe Andres.
I don't think I have, but I will tell you this: I did a Google search for Zelda pools, and Paul Gale is there's
the only one that shows up.
4 videos. Just you're the top of the Google search. If you Google Zelda pool, Paul Gale is the top of search.
Yeah,
how about Mario pool?
The pool in the Zelda wiki.
And by the way, if you check images on Zelda pool, it's you and a whole bunch of girls dressed up as Zelda in bikinis.
Hang on a second.
Hey now. Whoa.
Yeah.
All right.
There's some art too. Actually, this one's kind of cute.
Yeah, we gotta get that pool to go viral, man. Sick.
Thank you.
Oh, it's an actual pool.
It is really cool.
Yeah, see, I'm a larger man. I need to come and dress up like a Goron and jump in the pool because we don't like water.
Oh, that'd be
We don't
crazy.
like water. I gotta act like I'm like, ah!
It could be a Goron Spring though in the shallow end.
Spring. Throw a little editing in there. Look like
Actually, you know what? I was gonna sign up for Indie Mania, and then when I was doing it, Mike was like, "Hey, I see that you're on my website," and I'm like, "All right, that's creepy."
I remember that.
That is a
That's
little
creepy.
Because you were on
And
his
then I
podcast.
didn't sign up.
That
I
is
didn't
a-
sign
that
up
is
for
a
that
little
reason.
That is a little creepy, dude.
It was
I
for
was
that
gonna
reason.
sign up.
in your ass. Look out!
It was
Look
for
out!
that
He's got
reason.
your IP. He's tracking you. Yeah, that is a little creepy. Oh man. Anyways, Eric,
Yeah.
What's
I'm
up?
here,
most Wednesdays,
except for when I'm not.
which it might be next week.
Might be next week,
Might be
but I
next
might
week.
not be here.
Yeah.
Don't know yet.
We'll see. We got Thunderstash.
Yeah, you guys know where you can find me. I just posted a video yesterday for the Nintendo World Championship. Did a review on that, and then I I recorded my first ever guide. It's a no commentary guide, and it's how to get S rank on every challenge in the game. There's 156 challenges. I got S rank on all of it, and I decided to make a guide. So that's up to. And then next, I am going to be playing the Legend of Zelda, the regular Nintendo, original Zelda, but on Super Nintendo with a fully orchestrated soundtrack. It's a Super Nintendo port. It's unofficial. That's the next thing I'm going to be doing. And then
That's sick.
I got to get this baby hooked up,
Mm-hmm.
the PSVR 2 PC adapter, and check this out. Play some Half-Life Alex on the PlayStation VR 2. Looking forward to that.
By the way, I didn't realize your Splintered Fate review has popped off.
Yeah.
Congratulations, sir. You are getting more views than my channel gets. Holy shit.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I was shocked myself actually, because
Yeah.
it's hit and miss. It's hit and miss, but Turtles seems to do well, and Contra seems to do well. So
Maybe there just wasn't a lot of reviews for it, but there's a high demand.
Such a
Yeah.
good game.
it's a very good
Yeah.
game.
It really is.
Have you guys have all played it?
Oh, I beat it. Like I hammered through that thing in that weekend.
Same.
I think it came out like on
Literally,
the
it's
17th.
literally
About
the
the
first
18th.
game that I'm gonna buy when I'm off of my can't buy for myself thing at the end of the month.
Yeah, it's really good.
When all that Prime Gaming Fest stuff in the corner is out the door, I'm gonna smile. Buy. That's it. That's all I need. All right. I'm Nintendo Prime. You guys should know me by now. If you don't, and the first time you ever seen a show or heard a show, maybe you saw a podcast clip, maybe you are audio version. I don't know. Look, I'm the host of the show. I run a channel called Nintendo Prime. I talk Nintendo news. That's basically my gig. Nintendo news. Plus, I host this podcast. We do live streams as well. Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Usually there's Q&A streams. Sometimes we mix in some other events. Sometimes there's bonus streams. I don't know. Things just happen. We just have fun talking about Nintendo all the damn time. And I'm a huge Zelda guy. So if you're into Echoes of Wisdom, I already have 3 videos out on the damn game over the last 4 days. I don't think tomorrow there'll be one, but then I say that, and then Nintendo will give us more stuff. And so then I'll do 2 videos tomorrow. Because right now I've got like 3 different video ideas that I need to run with. So look, I like this. I haven't been overloaded with video ideas in a while, so this is good. That being said, I want to remind everyone that we do have the Nintenbyte Podcast Clips channel. If you guys want to go check that out, I'll try to toss a link up.
Okay, you did.
In
Chat. Yep.
Yeah,
did.
so that's where you can see all of our individual topics on their own. You don't want to watch a big 3-hour show like this is tonight. You don't have to. Go get the individual topics and enjoy. They come out usually once a day, a little bit behind the last one, but I will have a clip from it up tonight, and there'll be another one dropping tomorrow. And then we're almost done with that show. And then this show will start getting clipped out, leading all the way up into the next week. And as I like to do when I am pretty confident on who the next week's guest is going to be, this is someone who's always reliable when he tells me he's going to be here. Sumbro Nation is next week.
Incredible.
Nice.
So he's awesome. I'm glad to have him on. He committed to 2 shows. We're going to get committed tomorrow because he's a good guy. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch you on next week's episode.
Have a good evening.
You can catch
Kyle.
we catch Paul Gale on Friday, right? Mike Odyssey.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
an
yeah.
accurate statement.